We'll give praise, glory, and honor to the Most High Yah by way of YAHUAH HaMashiach, our Master and Savior. John chapter 5 and verse 39. Gonna try to hit two key points of certain that we looked at last night, Wednesday night I should say, which is how the just live by their faith, and also how Mashiach spoke of the righteousness of Yahuwah and the righteousness of Yahuwah alone. Huh? Did you get you some Arctic Freeze? Should have got you some Arctic Freeze. It says in the 5th chapter of John, in the 39th verse, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me, and you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. Listen to what he say. I come in my Father's name, and you receive me not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. Now, if he come in his Father's name, let's look at Exodus 33. Say he come in his Father's name. What we have to delineate to realize, Exodus 34, my apologies. What we have to turn around and look at is this. This man ain't gonna come with nothing different than what his father came with. Ain't gonna be nothing different. He didn't give his apostles nothing different than what his father gave him. Exodus 34 and 4. And he hewed 2 tables of stone like unto the first. And Moses rose up early in the morning and went up unto Mount Sinai as Yahuwah had commanded him. And he took in his hand 2 tables of stone. And Yahuwah descended in the cloud and stood with him there, and proclaimed the name of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah passed before him and proclaimed Yahuwah, Yahuwah Elohim, merciful and gracious, long-suffering, and abundant in goodness and truth, keeping mercy for thousands, and forgiving iniquity and transgression and sin, and that will by no means clear the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children and upon the children's children unto the 3rd and 4th generation. The key thing that it said that he was abundant in was goodness and truth. Stop. Now y'all already know that Psalms 119 says that the law is truth, correct? Psalm 119 and 142 say the law is truth. The law is the truth. That's what it says, right? But come on over here to Psalms 119 and 142, and I want you to see the first half. Hello? To the last person that called. Hello? Yeah. Hush, Leah Lizzie. Go sit down somewhere. He says, matter of fact, just go ahead and give me about 137. Psalms 119 and 137. They ain't that long. We'll just deal with all of it. Righteous art thou, O Yahuwah, and upright are thy judgments. What does that mean about his judgments? If they upright. What's another word for upright? Leah, stop. Get out. You hard-headed. What's another word for upright? What's another word? What's another word for upright? The righteous ain't what we looking for. What's another word for just then? Because we just talked about another word for just on Wednesday. Blameless. Blameless. So that man just say his judgments are blameless. Why would his judgments be blameless? Well, hold what you got from this Psalms 119. First thing that I want you to look at is I want you to look at Revelation 19 and 11. She been told you to take them shoes off. You should have never put them back on. Revelation 19 and 11. And I saw Shamahim opened, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness he doth judge and make war. How would he be able in righteousness to judge and make war if he said that this man's judgments are blameless altogether? So that means whatever judgments he execute, ain't no sin on it, ain't no spot on it. How could this be the case? That basically saying that any judgment that he has, that can't nobody say nothing against it. Because ain't no blame to it. Get you Ephesians 5 and 22. After that, 1 Peter chapter 4, about verse 5. 1 Corinthians chapter 2 come to mind. We'll get there in a minute. Make it Ephesians 5 and 24. 23 is good. That's good. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as a Mashiach is the head of the body, or head of the synagogue, and he is the savior of the body. Therefore, as the synagogue is subject unto a Mashiach, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything. Husbands, love your wives, even as a Mashiach also loved the synagogue and gave himself for it, that he might sanctify and cleanse it with the washing of water by the word, that he might present it to himself a glorious house, not having spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that it should be kadesh and without blemish. That means that the judgment that he just proclaimed, that his house should be clean and blameless, right? That's the judgment that's been made. He said his judgments are upright. You also got to look at how his judgments are upright, because when the Mashiach was put up on the tree, how was he put up there? Upright. So he already showing you that his judgments are upright, because Mashiach is his judgment. See, before we even go any further, let me get John chapter 3, verse 17 real fast. John 3 and 17. Y'all stop being so greedy. For Elohim sent not his son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved. See, this is the difference, like you say, talking about to be justified by the things that you couldn't be justified by the law of Moses. See, now when he gave the law of Moses, gave the law to Moses, that wasn't for our condemnation. But then at the same time, it did condemn us because we were disobedient to it. You understand what I'm saying? See, Hamashiach was not sent in for your condemnation, but for your salvation. Because, you know, Paul told you in 2 Corinthians chapter 3, if the ministration of condemnation was glorious, then the ministration of life should be even more glorious. Because what Moses gave you was the righteousness of the law, but was testifying of the righteousness of faith to come after that. That's why he say the law came by Moses, but grace and truth came by Yahushua HaMashiach. See, grace being that undeserved favor, and if we say grace and truth and we use line on line, precept on precept, that means undeserved favor, and the law or the instructions came with a Mashiach. That instruction on to believe on me as the scripture have said. When you have believed on me as the scripture have said, then quite obviously that you will obey. We touched on this a little bit on Wednesday, and y'all we're going to hit it tonight. You know what I'm saying? Because I might be in a little pain, but I ain't in that much pain. Ain't going to be enough pain to stop this word from coming. Because whatever I did in that gym, that's my stuff. They ain't going to stop nothing. It's got to be done this evening. You know what I'm saying? Or y'all will in the afternoon. And we will be at Pablo Creek Branch Library. Now that I mentioned that before, I've been forgotten. It got too late. Pablo Creek Branch Library. Like I told y'all, Romans chapter 10, Paul talked about the righteousness of the law that Moses described, and then the righteousness of Hamashiach, which is of faith, which that is described. Hamashiach fulfilled both of those, which means we have to fulfill both of those. You understand what I'm saying? Verse 18, he that believe on him is not condemned. But he that believe not is condemned already, because he have not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of Elohim. This is the condemnation, that light is come into the world, and men love darkness rather than light, because their deeds were evil. For everyone that do evil hate the light, neither come to the light, lest his deeds should be reproved. Now we know, just lining up the precepts, we already know that. We know Proverbs 6 and 23 say the law is light and the commandment is a lamp, and the reproofs are the instructions of life. So it only makes sense when the Mashiach say that would take us back to Shalom. It'll take us back to Solomon, and we know what it is. See, the thing that come in that is the reason, like I told y'all before. People hear the word, they stray away, they leave, because the word is manifesting that their deeds are incorrect. I've told some of y'all this before. Some of y'all ain't heard it before. But I remember a young woman I was dealing with. I was sitting back talking to her, and she was like, "You'll run people away." I said, "I ain't gonna run nobody away." That's when I gave her the analogy that I say, "What happened when you cut the light on and there's roaches in the kitchen?" She say they scatter. I say, "Well, that's what the word do to sinners. Anybody who want to do the word ain't gonna run." Just like the man said, those that do evil, they don't come to the light, but they run from the light lest their deeds should be reproved because their deeds are evil. See, most people like to come to a false light. That's why the Apostle Paul told you, no marvel that Satan is transformed into a malachim, a light, and no marvel that his ministers are transformed into ministers of righteousness. See, his servants and his preachers, they can make it sound like that what they saying is right. Because they masquerading as light. They are lesser light. They're not the greater light. Because light make manifest and light reproves. You understand what I'm saying? See, light and darkness can't exist in the same place at the same time. You know, light overpowers darkness. Life overpowers death. Obedience overpowers disobedience. You understand what I'm saying? So when you turn around and you look at this and you get a fundamental point in your mind, when that word comes, like people say, you condemning people to hell. I ain't condemned nobody nowhere. The word has done it. You know what I'm saying? See, that's what people don't like, is the word condemns their behavior. See, if you smoke a marijuana and somebody preach on that, then you're going to take it that that man has condemned you. When that man didn't condemn you, Yah's word did. If you're a lustful individual, if you're an adulterer, if you're a fornicator, if you're a liar, if you break the Shabbat, whatever it is that you're doing that's contrary to sound doctrine, when that word comes and that word identifies that that behavior is worthy of death, then you're going to try to say that man is condemning you, when it's the word that do it. He that despiseth not man, but Elohim, for he has given unto us his Ruach HaKodesh. You mad at the word. No matter what, Yah's word is condemning you. That's what's cutting you. I ain't cutting you. You know what I'm saying? The word of Elohim is sharper than a two-edged sword, dividing asunder to the joints of marrow. Not me. It ain't my word. You know what I'm saying? I don't use the word to beat people upside their head or this, that, there, and the other. I'm going to tell you what the word say, and I'm going to tell you just like this here. If you're outside the will of Yah, you're going to hell. You know what I'm saying? That's the bottom line. Just like what we read the other day, where the Apostle Paul say, man, I keep my body under subjection. Lest what I preach unto others, I become a castaway. I know if I do it, I'm going to hell too. Huh? Y'all don't realize that though. Y'all don't think about stuff like that though. Verse 21, but he that do truth come to the light, that his deeds may be manifested, they are wrought in Elohim. That means he that do truth gonna come to the light. That means they gonna come to the word to show that their works are in Yah's works. That everything they doing is in the Most High. Y'all we gonna look at that. We're gonna see Hamashiach doing it. And maybe we'll look at a couple other people. But let's swing back around here. I just had in my mind something else. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 5. That's what I wanted. Ooh, boy. 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 5. Oh, hush. Huh? Oh. Wow. Who shall give account to him that is ready to judge the quick and the dead? For this cause was the good news preached also to them that are dead, that they might be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to Elohim in the spirit. Now what you think that mean about being judged according to men in the flesh? What you think that could mean? What y'all think? No, if they gonna be judged according to men in the flesh, that means they got to be judged just like according to men are with the word. See, come back over here to 1 Corinthians chapter 2 before we come over here to Psalms 96. Remember what Hamashiach say? He say, he that reject me don't reject me. The same word he reject, the same word gonna judge him in the last day. They were gonna be judged just like men in the flesh were judged, but they were gonna live by the spirit, because he gave that same word to them of preaching of him. that you would believe on him. He said, if you don't believe on me, you shall die in your sins if you do not believe that I am he. So in order to be, see, that's the mercy and uprightness and fairness of Yahuwah. He gave them the opportunity, even to those who had already passed. He gave them an opportunity to hear it. So can't nobody slide by. You understand what I'm saying? See, a lot of people think people gonna slip. I done heard that, what about Abraham? They never believed in Jesus. So you say. You know what I'm saying? But how many times we done seen to validate Hamashiach preaching to the spirits in prison, preaching to the spirits in the grave? How many times we done seen that? You know what I'm saying? So we know Yah is merciful. That's why he say he abundant in goodness and truth. You don't even catch that there, how that's goodness and truth. Oh, man. You ain't catch right there how his judgments are upright? Oh, man. 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 14. Make it 13. We'll just make it 12. Now we have received not the spirit of the world, but the spirit which is of Elohim, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of Elohim. Which things also we speak, not in the words which man wisdom teach, but which the Ruach HaKodesh teach, comparing spiritual things with spiritual. See, the difference here is of what we looking at is this. If you got the spirit of the world, hold what you got. Look at 1 John chapter 4. Stop jumping and sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1 real fast. We come right back over here to 1 Corinthians chapter 2. He say, beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of Elohim, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. Now, Paul told you in 1 Corinthians chapter 2 that we don't have the spirit of the world, but the spirit of Elohim. Now, we know the spirit of Elohim is his divine nature and essence. We know that the Most High Yah does not commit sin. We know that he says, as in Shamahim, so in the earth. So that means we know that whatever laws he got, he keep. He say, be ye Kadesh, because I am. So we know that you're not going to sit back and say that somebody, if anybody say they are of Yah, then they going to manifest Yah's attributes to the fullest. Not those that they seem to like or find convenient, but all of them. That means there's going to be long suffering, there's going to be mercy, there's going to be goodness, there's going to be truth, there's going to be compassion, there's going to be joy, there's going to be love for his brother, there's going to be love for Yah first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be set apart, sanctified behavior. It's going to be cleanliness. All of that. Ain't going to be nothing contrary to the way of Yahuwah if that man say that he's a servant of Yah. Ain't no servant of Yah going to tell you to go against Yah's will. Even we know that from looking at the vision that Peter got in Acts chapter 10. He say, not so, master. I ain't never ate nothing common or unclean. I said, I don't know what you're telling me. I know I ain't finna eat no swine, though. And he knew that was Hamashiach talking to him. He said, but I ain't finna do that, though. I know you ain't telling me to do that, though. You got to sit back and look at that. That's why you think Peter came back with that response. He had to test that to whether that was Elohim or not. He ain't sit back and look at, well, that's a Mashiach talking to me. That's why when you know something come from Yah, one thing you know it ain't going to have you do. It ain't going to have you go against his will. Ain't nobody going to be like, Yah led me to you, sister, for you to be my fourth wife. You know that nigga smoking crack. You know Yah ain't stamped that. Verse 2. Hereby know ye the spirit of Elohim. Every spirit that confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Elohim. And every spirit that confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim. And that is the spirit of anti-Mashiach, whereof you have heard that it should come, even now already is it in the world. You of Elohim, little children, have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world. They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world, and the world hear them. We are of Elohim. He that know Elohim, hear us. You heard what he said? He that know Elohim, hear us. He that is not of Elohim, hear not us. Hereby we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. Again, we know that the law is truth and all this. He say, but he that hear Elohim is not of us. Now I'm going to finish 1 Corinthians chapter 2. And then we're going to hit John chapter 8. And then we're going to hit Job 42. And then we're going to get Romans chapter 10. We're going to hit John 8 and about verse 40. We're going to hit Job 42 and about verse 3. And we're going to hit Romans 10 and about verse 15. Let me finish this 1 Corinthians chapter 2 first, though. Still holding Psalms 119. You know, thank y'all. He working how he want to work. Y'all all right? Y'all just bear with me if I slow down. I mean, my back might have went and hurt a little bit. Verse 13 is where we stopped at. The reason why he say comparing spiritual things with spiritual, because we know from Romans chapter 7, the Apostle Paul told us this here. The law is spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? Anything that come out, we already know that Kadesh men of Elohim was moved as they spake by the Ruach HaKodesh. That means the words that they spake were spiritual. That's why he said the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. It don't matter if it's in the so-called old covenant or so-called new covenant. Anything that come out, because anything from Matthew to John, that's Elohim talking. That's y'all talking through Yahushua. Right there and there on the spot, looking them right in the face, talking to him. And you got to understand and realize, son, all them words were spirit. That's why he said the testimony of a Mashiach is the spirit of prophecy. That means everything they were prophesying of was the spirit of Yah speaking. There is no sin in the spirit of Yah. There is no disobedience in the spirit of Yah. There is no uncleanliness in it. Don't have nobody sitting there thinking that they possess the Ruach HaKodesh of Yahuwah and go contrary to the way of Yahuwah. That makes no sense. Verse 14, but the natural man received not the things of the spirit of Elohim, for they are foolishness unto him. Neither can he know them, because they are spiritually discerned. But he that is spiritual judge all things, yet he himself is judged of no man. For who have known the mind of a Mashiach, that he may instruct him? But we have the mind of a Mashiach. Do you see the key thing what this man say? He that is spiritual judgeth all things and is judged by no man. Now I'm going to ask y'all a question. Who judged the Mashiach? Exactly. We read it the other night in 1 Peter chapter 2. He said he committed himself to he who judges righteously. Now you've already so we've already stated that, looking at that, when the Mashiach told them that if you don't believe on me, you already condemned. So that was his judgment right then. He said, whoever don't hear the words of the prophet that is like unto Moses, I will require it of him. So Hamashiach is judgment. He was upright judgment. They put that judgment right up there on the tree. You believe not, you are damned. You believe, you shall be saved. All right, y'all follow me? You know what I'm saying? He said that judgment is upright, meaning it was blameless. So there's no man who can judge a Mashiach, because the Mashiach sinned not. So that's why he can come back and he can judge in righteousness and make war. Because he's going to judge according to Yah's word, not according to his own mind. He's not going to go after the side of it. Hold on. Hold what you got. Isaiah chapter 11, before we even read John chapter 8. Woo-hoo. He was able to be risen because the word was in him. The word is spirit and life. That's what rose him from the dead. The word was in him. That's what's going to raise us from the dead. The word got to be in you. That's why he says in Psalm 119, quicken me with thy word, or make me alive with thy word. His word has to be in you. That's what's going to raise you from the dead. See, it's a brother I know, he was like, we got to come back to the laws. We got to come back to the laws. And that is true. You know what I'm saying? But if you don't have the righteousness of faith to go along with the righteousness of the law, you're going to go to hell. You're not going to get the Ruach HaKodesh off the law alone. You're going to actually have to believe. That's why he said there are some of you here that believe not. You know what I'm saying? And they start walking with him. Right after he told him, he that eat my meat, my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eat my flesh and drink my blood dwelleth in me, and I dwell in him. And even as I live by the Father, they shall live by me. That means you're going to do what I say. See, you see the key thing of what he ain't say no delineation or no difference. He said, I live by the Father. So therefore, since I live by the Father, if I dwell in you, you're going to live by me. Meaning you're going to do exactly what I did. Just like he said, even if I kept my Father's commandments, you'll keep my commandments. The Father gave him a way to go. Because we had to sit back. If Hamashiach did not sin, that means he kept the righteousness of the law. We read that in Leviticus 18 Wednesday night. He said, he that do them shall even live in them. Right? That man lived in that. That man kept them laws. He kept his statutes. He kept his judgments. He kept his ordinances. So just like what it said in Genesis 26 and 1 through 5, because Isaac was the promised seed, he sit back and told him, I'm going to bring all this stuff on you because your father kept them. See, now we sitting back looking at that we could be the promised seed through the Ruach HaKodesh through Hamashiach. Because we know from Isaiah chapter 9, he's called the everlasting father, right? So if he's called the everlasting father and Abraham means exalted father, you know what I'm saying? Then we turn around and look at that through him we able to receive that inheritance. You couldn't get it unless he obeyed. You know what I'm saying? See, even when you look at Abraham, he's showing you the fulfilling of a Mashiach, walking in the righteousness of the law and the righteousness of faith to be able for those that come after him to obtain inheritance. You know what I'm talking about? Hamashiach did the same thing. All you got to do, if you really, and we gonna look at all this stuff, y'all. We good. We at 25-minute mark. We good. I got a lot of stuff this evening. You know what I'm saying? To culminate what we've been talking about since Tuesday, to show you the increase or the produce. You know what I'm saying? Because when you get an increase in your faith, it should be a production. That production should be your obedience. That's the equal to your faith. You know what I'm saying? When you don't get that produce, that means your faith is not equal with your obedience, or vice versa, or your obedience is not equal with your faith. Either way it go, that means something is lacking. You know what I'm saying? We here to provide that there be nothing, as Paul said, that there be nothing lacking in your faith. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be lacking in your obedience. You don't need to be lacking in your hope. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to be lacking in that. When you turn around and you lack in certain areas, that's why it's easy for you to disobey. Or that's why it's easy for somebody to convince you that what you might have believed at one point, you don't believe it no more. You know what I'm saying? Can't let that happen. Isaiah chapter 11 and about verse 3. Well, they like to try it, don't they? They'll start whooping them more. And you already be tired from whooping them anyway. They don't like that. They try you. They think you softer. Start putting them in a stone cold stunner. Stone cold stunner. See, I already know what Leah and Lizzie think. See, they think they cute. So they think they put that little face on. They can get it. I'm telling you, Lizzie always tried. It only works with your daddy. It only works with your daddy. And it says, let me read verse 2. And the spirit of YAHUAH shall rest upon him, the spirit of wisdom. So if the spirit of wisdom on him, that means the fear of YAHUAH is in that spirit. And understanding, we know he would understand the volume of the word and how it relates to him in the plan of salvation. The spirit of counsel, that means he would be able to give you a recommended course of action for you to go for the way you ought to go. And might, meaning power. So you already know he walked in the power of the Ruach HaKodesh with the many miracles that he worked. And the spirit of knowledge and the fear of YAHUAH. So that means if he had the spirit of knowledge, that means the word was in him. And it shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of YAHUAH. And he shall judge not after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. Now she's wet. I seen that. Now she's wet. So when you turn around and you look at this, right? That means if he's not going to judge by what he see or what he hear, in righteousness he going to judge. That means he going to judge according to the word. Not what you say, not with no boo-hoo tears, not by what it looked like. That's why he said don't judge according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Judge things according to the word. That's how you ought to do it. You know, we already looked at that when we looked at Tamar and Judah, didn't he? He judged according to appearance and not righteous judgment, did he? You got to learn how to do that. John chapter 8. He say those that are of the world, hear them. He say those that are Elohim, hear us. Just like some of y'all didn't hear John chapter 8, verse 40. Make it 39. Like I was telling some of y'all, all y'all wasn't on here. You know, I was talking with a brother the other day. That was Thursday. That was yesterday. Well, not yesterday, but 2 days ago. I knew who he was referring to when he made the post about people talking about clothing lines of pagan and all this, that, and the third. But I would tell them, like, we don't wear no Nike. We wouldn't wear it. We know where it come from. And that when we find out certain things are named after idol gods, we don't mess with it no more. You know, I know Kira had been done asked me about it. I just hadn't got back with her, got back with y'all. But man, don't even drink Sprite no more. Just find you another lemon lime soda. You know what I'm saying? Truth be told, I wouldn't advise none of y'all to drink soda, period, because it's poison. You know what I'm talking about? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? I stopped drinking soda when I started working out in prison. You know what I'm saying? I left it alone. Because they sold sodas in prison. You know what I'm saying? Coca-Colas and Diet Cokes and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? I really stopped drinking it then. To be honest with you, it's empty calories. It ain't nothing but sugar. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going to do nothing but cause you to get diabetes or get fat. That's all it's going to do. That's all soda is a big old can of sugar. You know what I'm saying? You can drink it if you want to. And like, I'm not going to be like, oh, why are you drinking that soda? You fool, you idiot. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do all that, man. I'm not going to mess with you about drinking no soda. I'm just saying I wouldn't do it. But I'm more into fitness than some of y'all is. So I understand if you do. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mad at you. But if you do, don't buy no Sprite. Because a Sprite ain't nothing but another name for a fairy. And you know we don't, and a fairy ain't nothing but another name for a genie. And a genie ain't nothing but another name for a demon. You know what I'm saying? And I would tell him, I'm like, nah, bro, we don't drink no Sprite. So he was like, you think a Mashak would cast you in the pit if a man was thirsty and you gave him a Sprite instead of water? I say, shoot, I wouldn't give him a soda anyway. So then was like, you think a Mashak would throw us in the pit if you gave a man a Nike t-shirt instead of a FUBU shirt? I'm like, bro, I wouldn't have owned a Nike shirt to give to him in the first place. He was like, so you think a Mashak would be petted enough to throw us in the pit by some Ajax dish detergent? Hey, man, if you know it's a Greek god, why would you want it in your house when our law say don't bring no idols in your house? It's a cursed thing, lest you be cursed like unto it. You know what I'm saying? To other people, it seemed like we condemning people and this, that, there, and the other. I said, man, we Yahudim, bro. We don't mess with idols. We abhor idols. We hate idols. They are utterly detestable. They are an abominable thing to us. Therefore, once we find out something is abominable, we want absolutely nothing to do with it. We utterly detest it as our power commanded us. Would y'all agree? Well, amen, then. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. That's all I can say. You know what I'm saying? I don't agree with it. I don't rock with it. You know what I'm saying? He was coming up with other scenarios with it. I'm like, hey, people can do what they want to do. If they come around and ask me about it, this is what I'm going to tell them. If they say they want to be a part of this assembly, well, I'm going to tell you, we don't do that. If you don't want to do it, you don't got to be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple. It ain't even that deep. It's just that simple. If you don't want to do it, you ain't got to do it. I'm going to tell you, me personally, according to this word, I believe you're going to hell for it. If you die in that, I believe you're going to hell for that. With every ounce of my being. Straight up and down. Because idolatry is idolatry. You know what I'm saying? I can sit back and I can see right now that before y'all get us up out of here, we'll be dwelling in the most simplest state possible outside of what the rest of the world is doing. How many of y'all believe that? I ain't talking about just living off no land or nothing like that. I'm talking about being like just a lot of stuff you don't mess with no more versus what the world do. You know what I'm saying? That's how it's got to be. When that man say, I've severed you from amongst other people that you should be mine, I mean, he set you apart, that you should belong to him. I mean, it's just certain things that you're not going to do. Certain things that we're not with. You know what I'm saying? Everybody do their own thing. I know what I'm going to do. And I know anybody who going to be joined with me, you could do it or leave. Don't make me now a bit of different because I ain't bending it for nobody. I'm not even finna bend it for myself. Pretty much all y'all on here agree that a pair of Air Maxes are probably the hardest and most comfortable pair of shoes you probably ever wore in your life. You know what I'm saying? I don't think we'll get an argument out of any of y'all that you, during the time period that you bought Nike sneakers, that not only were they aesthetically pleasing, meaning they look good, but they were actually functional for what they were made for. You know what I'm saying? I ain't seen too many people jump up. I'm talking about, I ain't just saying it to be saying it. You don't really hear rarely too many times Nike come out with a shoe and people just be like, it's ugly. No matter what kind of shoe it is. Of course, everybody gonna say a particular shoe is ugly. But you know what I'm saying? You hear regular, boy, them Adidas is ugly, boy. You know what I'm saying? That's like the regular. When you look at the other shoe companies, how people state how ugly their shoes are. You rarely hear that when that come to Nike. You talking about people who would look, boy, I just seen a pair of Air Max 2016. Them things was nasty. But I'm not finna go to hell behind them. And I ain't finna try to come up with no way in my mind to justify going to buy them. The brother say the Nike logo is the same as the check mark my teacher used to put on my paper. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, hey, brother, look it up for yourself. That's a wing for the Greek goddess Nike. That's a symbol. These people knew what they were doing. In the book of Jeremiah, the prophet Jeremiah told you, as the nation changed their gods. I done told y'all that before, and these people ain't never start worshiping their God. That's why they got Nike sneakers. That's why they got Vulcan for Arm & Hammer. That's why they got Ajax for dish detergent. That's why they got Thor in your cartoons. That's why they got Sprite on your soda. You know what I'm saying? That's why they got Buddha on your True Religion jeans. Because they ain't never stopped. And I know it's a couple other I ain't missing, because his point was all the clothing lines are pagan. I'm not going to say all the clothing lines are pagan. How you get paganism out of Nautica? That's a sailing boat. You know what I'm saying? That's a sailing boat. Okay, I could give you that there. Name of the watch, a chronograph. Okay, that's the Greek god Chronos. I'll give you that. You know what I'm saying? Tommy Hilfiger pagan, that's his name. You know what I'm saying? Is Ralph Lauren pagan? Lauren's not his last name, though. Ralph Lauren is a Khazar. He's Jewish. It's not even his last name. I'm trying to think of others because I don't wear a lot. Would I say Mecca is pagan? Eddie Bauer ain't pagan. That's a man's name. You got Mecca clothing line. That's named after a city. It's pagan stuff going on there, but Mecca in itself ain't pagan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I mean, come on, man. Nobody wears duck head anymore, Corey. Let me think. You know what I'm saying? I don't really know what these niggas wear these days. You know, but Rockaway wasn't pagan. Sean John ain't pagan. Sean John is the naming after, I think, of Puffy's kids. You know what I'm saying? But then, you know, there's colognes like Versace itself ain't pagan, but their logo is. Yeah, Levi Strauss ain't pagan. That's a man's name. Yeah, Jabot. That's a man's name. You know, most clothing lines are named after the person who designed it. Gucci ain't pagan. Louis Vuitton ain't pagan. Or most of these people who make those clothes, Dolce & Gabbana ain't pagan. They two faggots. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? He was like, well, they made by homosexual pagans. I'm like this here, bro. We know these people faggots and heathens and this, that, there, and the third. But you know what I'm saying? But that don't mean nothing, though. He was like, well, y'all need to make your own clothes and your own cleaning supply. I said, y'all will. We don't got no problem with that. Not at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, you ain't said nothing. That just cut out the middleman. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't even said nothing. When you making it, we just making the point of something that is blatantly named after an idol god. We don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? We don't want nothing to do with that. We don't want nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? You can do as you see fit. We don't want nothing to do with that. You can do what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? We not going to wear it. We not going to use it. You know what I'm talking about? You try to come up in the sanctuary we got with some Nikes on, I'm going to have them ushers turn you around. They going to already know to turn you around. They going to already look at you and tell you, sir, you can't come in here with them on. You know what I'm saying? Because we won't be 501c3. You know what that means? We could do that. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no different than any private business. You know what I'm saying? I have the right to refuse you service. I don't have to let you in here. See, you 501c3, you really can't do people like that. You really supposed to let them in. That's probably where these niggas get that come as you are junk from. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? But boy, you're not coming in here with that. No sirree, buddy. Get your funky behind on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what you think this is. You ain't finna be bringing no curses in here. All up be damned. And guess what that ended up happening? And y'all think, y'all, if he can come in here with some Nike, we should be able to wear them then. Shoot, boy. I just was in the mall the other day, seen a mean pair of LeBrons. You know what I'm saying? John chapter 8, verse 39. I ain't finna go into great detail in verse 39. It's a sermon on Jesus for true freedom where we went in on there. You want to hear more detail about it? Go check it out on them. He said, they answered and said unto him, Abraham is our father. Yahushua saith unto them, if you were Abraham's children, you would do the works of Abraham. We're going to look at the works of Abraham, ain't we? But now you seek to kill me, a man that have told you the truth, which I have heard of Elohim. This did not Abraham? Oh, man. So this man ain't sitting. He said, I'm telling you the truth that I heard of Yah. He said, Abraham did the same thing. We already ascertained that Abraham was a prophet. You know what I'm talking about? So that means when he spoke, he was speaking the truth that Yah put in his mouth. So guess what that means? He said, I know him. He'll do justice and judgment and teach his household. That means all his household heard about Yah then. That means he told him the truth. That means he told him the law then. If we go by what Psalms 1, if we go by the precept, if we go precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little, out the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, but the book say the law is the truth. Huh? And we know Hamashiach is the instruction made flesh. So that means the entire instruction made flesh. That means everything encapsulated in the law. That man fulfilled the righteousness of the law by just doing it. But he also fulfilled the righteousness of the law because he believed it. He believed what he was going to get. He believed the reward he was going to receive. He said, you do the deeds of your father. Then they said to him, we be not born of fornication. We have one father, even Elohim. Yahushua said unto them, if Elohim were your father, you would love me. For I proceed forth and came from Elohim. Neither came out of myself, but he sent me. Why do you not understand my speech? Even because you cannot hear my word. You of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. And when he speak a lie, he speak of his own, for he's a liar and the father of it. So what you think that mean about he didn't abide the truth, and the truth ain't in it? He said he didn't abode in the truth. So when you look at the law, what was the first law? Well, that's not the first law. What was the law given to Adam? Because the first law was, let there be light. That was the first law. That was the first instruction. You know what I'm saying? That is the first law in the book. You know what I'm saying? That's the first instruction. But what's the instruction he gave to Adam? What's the instruction he gave to Adam? He hadn't even made Adam when he said something about being fruitful and multiply in Genesis chapter 1. Adam hadn't even been made yet. What's the first instruction he gave to Adam? What's the first instruction he gave to Adam? Don't eat off that tree. Don't eat off that tree. See, I'm going to show y'all something. Y'all ain't even realize this here. I'm going to show it to you right now, though. Y'all want to see something? Y'all want to see something real fast? Hold this John chapter 8. I'm going to show you something real fast. Come over here to Revelation 13. We come back to John chapter 8. I'm going to show you something real fast. Something just come to my mind. John chapter 13, verse 8. He says, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb, slain from the foundation of the world. If any man have an ear, let him hear. So that means Hamashiach slain from the foundation of the world, right? Now come over here. Let me see if it's Matthew chapter 12 that I desire. Let me see if Matthew 12 what I want. Nah, Matthew 12 ain't the one that I want. Let me see if it's in Mark. I want that specific and exact word. Give me a sec. I got to make sure I get that specific and exact word. I ain't even finna tell you what I'm looking for yet, because I got something specific. I'm going to see if y'all going to be able to catch on to it. I'm going to see if y'all going to be able to catch on to it. Y'all remember when we were talking about that people can't hear the word, when we were talking about the brother who said he couldn't hear the word no more? You know how scared, you know how scared that is? That's what he was sitting there, he was telling them people they couldn't hear the word no more. You know what I'm saying? When you look at a lot of people, they can't hear the word no more. The reason why they can't hear the word because they dulled their ear to it. You know what I'm saying? You got to have an ear open to the word. Everybody don't have an ear open to the word. Even some of y'all sit here every week. Your ear ain't opened up to it yet. It opened up to the part you like, and you close it to the part you don't like. You know how dangerous that is. Mark chapter 2 and verse 25. You know how dangerous that is. That's real dangerous. Well, make it 23. And it came to pass when he went through the cornfields on the Shabbat day, and his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of corn. The Pharisees said unto them, Behold, why do they on the Sabbath day, why they on Shabbat day that which is not lawful? Why do they on the Shabbat day do that which is not lawful? And he said unto them, Have you never read what David did when he had need and was hungered, and he that were with him? How he went into the house of Elohim in the days of Abiathar the high priest, and did eat the shewbread, which is not lawful to eat but for the priests, and gave also to them which were with him. And he said unto them, The Shabbat was made for man, and not man for the Shabbat. Therefore the Son of Man is the master also of the Shabbat. What do you think this could mean? He say the rest, he say, listen to me now. Don't try to get too deep with it. Really sit back and pay attention and before you think on it before you speak. He say the Shabbat is made for man, right? Not man for the day of rest. If he was slain from the foundation of the world, where can we see this at? I'm going to show you the righteousness of faith right here if you can catch it. You sure about that? He said he was slain from the foundation of the world, right? Then right here he say the Shabbat wasn't made for man. Say the Shabbat was made for man, meaning rest was made for man. Man was not made for rest. Adam was made after. See, let's go and look at Genesis. He was made after. Look at what I'm following now. Just follow me. Look at Genesis chapter 2. He was made after. See, when we're looking at that, Satan didn't abide in the truth, abode in the truth. I mean, he didn't abode in the instruction. He didn't abide in the law. Because he heard that law and instruction that was given. You know what I'm talking about? But he didn't abide in it. He wanted to do what he wanted to do. Let's look at Genesis 2 and 1 first. Oh boy, this front page all messed up. Looked like a dog ate it. Say, thus the Shamahim and earth was finished and all the host of them. And on the seventh day, Elohim ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all the work which he had made. And Elohim blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because in it he had rested from all his work which Elohim created and made. These are the generations of the Shamahim and of the earth when they were created, in the day that YAHUAH Elohim made the earth and the Shamahim. Every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For YAHUAH had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was no man to till the ground. But there went up a mist from the earth, and watered the whole face of the ground. And YAHUAH Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. Now, why would this be important on what we talking about? Shabbat was made for man, not man for the Shabbat. Why would it be important? Considering he's slain from the foundation of the world. Considering that the Shabbat was made before Adam. Considering that, what day did the Mashiach go in the grave? He went in the grave on the day of rest, didn't he? They said we got to get him down to Shabbat coming. So that means when he finished all the works that he did, not only all the miracles, fulfilling the righteousness of faith, fulfilling the righteousness of the law, obeying, that man said, it's finished. Just like his father said here in Genesis chapter 2, it's finished. He said everything that the father do, the son do likewise, because he don't do nothing different than what he's seen his father do. So that's why I don't even see how these niggas think that this man came and taught something different when the man said in the 5th chapter of John, about the 17th verse, I don't do nothing different than what my Ab do. Nothing different what my Abba do. We do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Same thing. So when he up there on that tree, that upright judgment, you know what I'm talking about? He said it's finished. Well, obviously, if he done finished putting up the Shamahims in the earth, which means he would be in the Shamahim himself, right? Upright judgment, guess what he say? It's finished. Then he ceased from all his labor. Just like a Mashiach ceased from all his labor, right? You know what I'm talking about? So what you actually seeing is this man being slain from the foundation of the world. His rest already been made because now he's in the dust of the earth and he breathed life into him. He become a living soul. Ain't that what he said? After Mashiach took his rest, then what happened to him? Then he rose from the dead afterwards, didn't he? That's the same thing you see right here, right? So what we actually looking at is how the day of rest, how a Mashiach's death was made for man. Man wasn't made for this man's death. I didn't make you for that. I made him for you. I didn't make you for him. That's why you sat back, we already read in Ephesians chapter 5, he said he gave his life for. You know what I'm talking about? He just turned around and you see him actually doing it again. You seen him being slain from the foundation of the world in Genesis chapter 2. Then you turn around and see him turn back and actually come on the earth and do it when he died for Eve, though. You know what I'm talking about? Because I mean, he had to do it twice. Because if he was slain from the foundation of the world, that means he saw rest was good. Like Issachar prophesied of. And Issachar means Elohim have given me my hire. He saw rest was good. So Hamashiach had to see rest was good. See, come on to Hebrews chapter 4 before I come back to John 8. Do you follow me? Hebrew chapter 4 about verse 5. That's why these boys tell you not to keep Shabbat. Boy, they damning you to hell. You don't believe in the Mashiach at that point. That man say, come unto me, all ye that labor, and I'll give you rest. We know Shabbat mean rest. That's the day of rest. You know what I'm talking about? Cease from all labor. You know what I'm saying? You can't sit back and say he your day of rest and then say, I'm not going to acknowledge it, because then you're not acknowledging that this day of rest, that this man died for you. You actually keeping the Shabbat is acknowledging he died for you. He say, not my will be done, but thy will be done. You know what I'm talking about? What is the Father's will on the Shabbat? Don't do no work. Have a set apart gathering. You know what I'm talking about? Don't seek after your own pleasure. Don't seek your own words, but call my Shabbat honorable. Call my son honorable. If you call him honorable and he's the master of the Shabbat, then you would follow him. He say, why you call me master, master, and don't do the things that I say? You can't sit back and say a man did something and then he gonna tell you to do opposite of what he did. That makes him a Mashiach, a hypocrite. This ain't no do as I say, not as I do. I'm gonna keep every law, but then tell you not to do it. That means you not like him then. 4 and 4. For he spake in a certain place, Hebrews, on the seventh day on this wise, Elohim did rest the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest. Seeing therefore it remained that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. Again, he limited a certain day, saying in David, today, after so long time, as it is say, today, if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahushua had given them rest, then he would have not afterwards spoken of another day. There remained therefore a rest to the people of Elohim. For he that is entered into his rest, he also hath ceased from his own works, as Elohim did from his. Let us labor therefore to enter into that rest, lest any man should fall after the same example of unbelief. Now this talking about entering in the land, but you also see this here though. We got to have something to back up Revelation 13 and 8 about that man being slain from the foundation of the world. He said he hadn't even caused it to rain on the earth yet. This man laying here dead. Then he tell him, get on up. Then when he get on up, this man begin to fulfill the process of showing you what a Mashiach will come to do, which is die for his wife. So when he tell you that the Shabbat was made for man, not man for the Shabbat, he telling you Hamashiach was made for you, not you for Hamashiach. Y'all understand what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? See, that's to sit back and the reason is because what we look at with the devil is him not abiding in the truth. He knew what the truth was. Don't eat of this tree, you're going to die. He came back around and told that woman something different. See, that's why she couldn't understand Adam's speech and couldn't understand his word, because she was of her father. She was of the devil, because the lust of her father, that's what she wanted to do, because she was moving off her flesh. She was moving off sensual desires and pleasure. See, at that time, she said, whoever you lend your member service to obey, that's whom do you obey. whether obedience unto life or disobedience unto death. She lended her member service to whom she served. At that particular time, she served the devil. You know what I'm saying? Not saying she served the devil every minute afterwards after that. You know what I'm talking about? But at that particular time, she lended her member service to him. You have to sit back and realize that who you lend to your member service. That's why I tell y'all, you better be careful on talking about what be a Yah and what and he led you in this, because sometimes that could just be you. You trying to frame that because that's what you want. You going after your lust. You know what I'm saying? You got to sit back and know, man. That's why I tell y'all. That's why I be real with y'all, man. Tell y'all certain stuff, man. Know where you weak at. Know what you lust after. Because guess who else know what you lust after and what you weak at and what you like? The wicked one do. You know what I'm saying? And you could go 6-7 months without he trying you. And then it pop up. You know what I'm saying? I done had situations, boy, be like this here, boy. Job done came up in the past. I be like, boy, that could be a y'all right there. Then as time went on, oh no, that wasn't a y'all right there, because they wanted me to do this and they wanted me to do that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got to look at that stuff like that. Just because it might appear to be what you want, that don't mean y'all appointed that. That's why I tell you better let time play out. You been done made a fool out yourself. Then you're going to come around here looking at me stupid. And I'm going to tell you, you should have been patient then. You know what I'm saying? Which is something that a lot of y'all don't have. You niggas speedball. And if you don't know what that is, that's mixing heroin and cocaine together. You're speedballing. You know what I'm talking about? You nigga be in such a rush to do certain stuff. I know y'all be like, boy, he move fast, but I might move fast. I don't be in no rush. I just got a sense of urgency. I just walk fast, period. You know what I'm talking about? I do think I know things got to get done. I don't sit back and look at everything. I just got some things, but you know, you got to get it done. You got to get it done. You know what I'm talking about? But then there's other things, you know, I got to let that play out though. You got to have wisdom to know the difference. You know what I'm saying? Some things, you know, you need a lot of fire up on you behind, handle your business and get that done. Some stuff, I'm going to let that play out. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to let that play out. A lot of y'all be ready to jump right off the bridge. Right off the bridge. Don't be no fool now. Speeding what got some of y'all in trouble right now. Speeding why some of y'all got kids. And you're not with the person you got them kids from. Because you were speeding. You know what I'm saying? Because you were speeding. And you ain't even sat back and had enough sense to sit back and realize, let me not make that mistake again. Don't you realize when you make the same mistake over again, that means that was a wasted life experience? That means you learned absolutely nothing for what you went through. You turn around and do the same thing again. If you turn around and do it again, that means you definitely wasted that life experience. You turn around and do it again after that, that means you certified stupid. That's just being honest. You ain't got no business bumping your head over and over and over again the same exact. I ain't mad if you ever made a mistake. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's going to happen. But if you making the same mistakes, that means you certified stupid. You know what I'm saying? You certified thinking that this will be right. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. You know what I'm saying? I looked at even before I got out of prison. I'm like, they said, boy, I know I ain't finna be selling no dope. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what go down, because I'm not finna be going back and forth to jail. Like, can't live like that's retarded. That's stupid. You know what I'm saying? I'm not finna live my life like that. You know what I'm saying? If I done dealt with a particular type of woman, I'm gonna sit back and look at that. I'm gonna learn from that. I ain't gonna go through that again. You know what I'm saying? I thank y'all for that, boy. I ain't never made the same mistake twice. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never made the same mistake twice. That's just not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? That is not gonna happen. That's just not gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna learn from that one now. It's some mistakes I ain't even have to make once, because I learned from the people around me. You know what I'm saying? From what they were going through and what they were dealing with. I ain't finna make that mistake. I seen what happened to bro. That ended ugly for him. I know what to do if I'm ever in that situation. I thank y'all for that. I got spared from a lot of stuff just because of observing the people around me and the mistakes that they made and learning from theirs. You know what I'm saying? You know, a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people don't learn from the mistakes of the people going on around them. You know what I'm saying? Whether they just were observing or somebody actually came and pulled you to the side and say, young blood, you know, I was going through this right here, man. You know what I'm saying? I see you heading in a direction. This how that went for me, young blood. Don't go out like that. You know what I'm saying? I done had that happen. People pull you to the side, tell you, boy, I see you, boy. You remind me of when I was such and such. Boy, I see what you're doing. Boy, don't do this right here or do this like this. Because see, when I was your age, I did it like this. And I see you heading that way. You know what I'm saying? See, some of y'all were too proud for anybody to tell you something because you was old arrogant bastard. You thought you knew everything. Nobody couldn't tell you nothing. That's why you ain't never succeed at nothing, because you wouldn't let nobody help you. You couldn't take nothing from nobody because you think you knew it all. You know what I'm saying? I thank y'all for that too. I wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I was able to know, mainly maybe because just growing up in the neighborhood I grew up in, it was a lot of older niggas anyway, and you see them doing certain stuff, and it might be certain stuff they doing, and you look up to it, so you're gonna be more a little inclined to hear what they gotta say. You know what I'm saying? Versus thinking you got it all figured out, cause you around these older dudes, you trying to soak up their game anyway. You know what I'm saying? So you ain't walking around with this, I know what I'm doing, I got it attitude, cause I know I ain't got it. Especially if I see you at where I'm trying to get at. You know what I'm saying? Especially when we were hustling. You know what I'm saying? I see you getting money like I want to get money. I see my man Mitch got money. You know what I'm saying? Anything he tell me, I wouldn't care what it was. If he told me, boy, you doing it like this here, you need to stop. Just on the fact I know this man is worth 6 figures, I'm going to take that into consideration. And 9 times out of 10, probably scrap whatever he told me to stop doing. Because what can I tell him? You know what I'm saying? I got 5 figures. He got 6. What can I tell him? I can't tell him nothing. I'm trying to get where he at. You know what I'm saying? A lot of our people don't think that way. We can't be like that though. Come on back over here to John chapter 8. But did you follow what I was trying to show you? You didn't even sit back and realize that. He was showing you how he made the rest for man and not man for the rest then. Everything in the law. One day we'll go into that way more in depthly. How this man death was made for you, not you for him. That's what these dudes around here thinking. They thinking that you was made for him. Man didn't make you for him. Y'all don't even sit back and realize that when he show you that. When he said that woman will dwell in that man, there'll be flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone, then he turned around and died for that woman. You know what I'm talking about? That man was made for that woman. That woman wasn't made for him when it came to that. You know what I'm saying? Because I know it said the woman was made for the man. He said, give him a help me. At the end of the day, though, Adam was made first because he had to lay a life down for the woman. That woman wasn't made for him. That rest wasn't made for her. I mean, that rest wasn't made for Adam. Adam was made to get that woman rest. We got to realize that. You got to realize who was made first and why. 8th chapter of John, about verse 45. He said, because I tell you the truth, you believe me not. Which of you convinced me of a sin? And if I say the truth, why do you not believe me? He that is of Elohim hears Elohim words. Ye therefore hear them not, because ye are not of Elohim. See, a lot of people just not of Yah. That's why they don't hear nothing. If you're not of Yah, you ain't gonna hear the man word. Swing to Job 42. I know I got Romans 10 on deck too. Still holding the 119th division of Telahim of Psalms. We gonna get around there to it. But we gonna hit this Job though. Y'all all right so far? Y'all follow what I'm talking about? See that right there, what we were looking at, how the Shabbat was made for man and not man for Shabbat. See, that's the righteousness of the law and the righteousness of faith at the same time. Do you follow that? Can you see that? You keeping the Shabbat show the righteousness of the law because that's the law that was given. But when you realize that a Mashiach was that rest made for you to rest in, that your soul might be saved. You know what I'm talking about? That you would cease from your works like he ceased from his, meaning you'll cease from committing sin because he became sin and therefore died. You know what I'm talking about? Ceasing from sin at his death, then you will realize that you would rest in that. And therefore he would be your Shabbat, showing he made for you. That's the righteousness of faith. Now I believe, now I know why I keep this day. I know I ain't just keeping it just because honor the Shabbat and I'm just doing it. I know why I'm doing it. I know why it relates to my salvation through my Savior, Yahushua HaMashiach. My faith should be increased. There will be no way anybody convince me to go differently. Realizing that the Shabbat was made as a reflection of how this man was made to die for me, that I might be able to live through him. How this day was made for me to learn how to cease from committing sin through him. But they just think this is a carnal ordinance. Yeah, that's what you'll think when you're stupid. Job 42 and about verse 3. Who is he that hired counsel without knowledge? Therefore I have uttered that I understood not, things too wonderful for me which I knew not. Here I beseech thee, and I will speak, I will demand of thee, and declare thou unto me. I have heard of thee by the hearing of the ear, but now my eyes see. See thee. So when we go to Romans 10, say, I heard of thee by the hearing of the ear. Y'all already know what it is. We done dealt with this before. We done dealt with Job 42 before. Man, I thank y'all, boy. We done crisscrossed this book in all manner of different ways. These niggas around here telling people not to do stuff. If you believe the word, you're going to hear the word. Ain't that right? Now, John, Romans 10 and 16. I'll make it 14 again. How then shall they call on him whom they have not believed? And how shall they believe on him whom they have not heard? And how shall they hear without a preacher? And how shall they preach except they be sent? As it is written, how beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of peace and bring glad tidings of good things. And don't you realize that? Now that I'm sitting there thinking about it. When we look at our father Abraham, right? We look at our father Abraham. He said, how can he believe on him whom he have not heard? He heard Yah's voice and he did what he had to do. But then he run across Melchizedek, king and priest of Jerusalem, king and priest of Salem, which means if he king and priest of the Most High Yah, guess what that means? He would have had to been sent, wasn't he? And how else he would have believed on Yah? And don't you realize now, follow me now, just follow me. I'm going to show you something. Come on back. Hold this right here. He said, and he bring glad tidings of good things, right? Hold what you got. Come over here to Genesis 14 while my mind on. I thank y'all for the word. Hallelujah for Yahushua. I thank y'all for the word. Ain't nothing like it. These niggas don't love the word. They just be talking. 14 and 17. Genesis 14 and 14. I'll just do it like that. Y'all ready? Y'all follow? I'm going to see if you care what I just came to my head, what I'm thinking about now. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, he armed his trained servants, born in his own house, 318 men, and pursued them unto Dan. And he divided himself against them, and he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all goods, and also again his brother Lot, and his goods, and the women also, and the people. You sit back and you can look at that. When you look at Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, hold what you got. Come over here to John chapter 8. Say he heard his brother was taken captive. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. John 8 and 32. Oh, man. I'm going to show you like this. He say he heard his brother was taken captive. That's what it said, right? John 8 and 32. And make it 31. Then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which believed on him, if you continue in my word, then you are my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. They answered him, we be Abraham's seed, we never been in bondage to any man. How say thou, ye shall be made free? Yahushua answered them, truly, truly, I say unto you, whosoever commits sin is the servant of sin. And the servant abide not in the house forever, but the Son abide forever. If the Son therefore shall make you free, you shall be free indeed. Now he say he was taken captive. He say he armed his trained servants that were born in his house, right? 318 pursued him unto Dan, then he divided himself against them. He and his servants by night and smote them. Then brought back all the goods, right? So when you turn around and look, let's turn around and look at this here, right? Let's go to Luke chapter 22 real fast. Say he armed his trained servants, right? Then by night they went to war. Let me get around here to Luke 22. If I can actually be on the right page, or is my page missing? My page is missing. Hold on one second, pal. My page is missing. I mean, I got to pull it up on the app. My page is missing. All right, we about out of an hour and 7 minutes. I got about another hour and 20 in me. I hope y'all got another hour and 20 in me. Mike got another 2 hours if I'm feeling froggy. I ain't gonna do y'all like Paul. I ain't gonna long preach. Paul preached all night. I can now. But I ain't gonna do y'all like that. Verse 36 of the 35 of the 22nd chapter of the book of Luke. And he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and scrip and shoes, lack you anything? And they said, nothing. Then said he unto them, but now he that have purse, let him take it, and likewise his scrip, and he that have no sword, let him sell him his garment and buy one. For I say unto you that all that is written must yet be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned among the transgressors, for the things concerning me have an end. And they say, Master, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. Don't you sit back and look at that. If his disciples, I'm going to pronounce it wrong, but the Hebrew word for disciples means a trained servant for all intents and purposes, right? Yeah, that's how it was, but sometimes it doesn't come out my mouth the way it sounds in my head. Because in my head it'll sound right. Sometimes it come out my mouth, it don't come out right. But that's a trained servant, right? He armed him, right? Because Peter had a sword, right? And when did they come and get him, YAHUAH? At nighttime, right? Now he was coming to set his brother free who had been taken captive. We know full well that we were held in bondage to him who had power over death, that is the devil. We have been taken captive of him at his will. You know what I'm talking about? Abraham is setting out to go in a battle to recover his brother, didn't he? Oh, man. Oh, man. How they miss that, little mother? But they around here telling you ain't got to obey, just love. Boy, you love y'all. He that is of Elohim and hear Elohim word. If you are y'all, you'll hear that. You'll sit back and realize what I'm showing you is that's the righteousness of faith in the law right there. You understand something? Hamashiach knows this. You know what I'm talking about? Abraham is fulfilling the righteousness of the law because he trusts in y'all enough to know my brother been taken captive. I'm finna go out at night and war for him and get him back. This actually go back to what we looked at with David, right? Remember when he recovered his 2 wives and all the goods and parted the goods to all the people? You know what I'm saying? He divided the spoil with the good. Ain't he doing the same thing? Going to war at night? Hamashiach died, he made it go dark, right? 3 o'clock. He going to war at nighttime. You gotta remember, if he died, that means it's darkness. He done put the light out. But yet he going to war. So look at John chapter 16, man. Man, these niggas ought to be slapped upside their head. But people say we go to too many precepts, man. But through our precepts, we get understanding. Through a Mashiach, we get understanding. So we going through them. They say you read too much word, bro. I say, nigga, you don't read enough. 16 and 8. That's what I say. I read verse 7 though. What did niggas say? Only got an hour. I go too long. Y'all think I go too long? If you did think I went too long, I'll tell you something. Wait for it. Wait for it. I truly don't care. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying? So the longest I think I ever went on one that's on tape is that wilderness thing, boy. I went for about 3 hours on that one. Didn't seem like it when we were doing it. You know what I'm saying? But I went 3 hours on that one. And that's real. You know what I'm saying? That's on Jesus for True Freedom. That's real talk, man. I might have went 3 hours on that one. No exaggeration. Didn't seem like it though. And I'm talking about, boy, and it's a cavalcade. And it ain't 3 hours of no filler either. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just standing up talking. You know what I'm talking about? But I wasn't up but word after word after word after word. That's 3 hours worth of word, boy. That's real. You know what I'm saying? See, now I talk to y'all a little bit more. It just be a lot of, it'd be quality versus quantity. But even the quantity then, it was still quality. I'm just going to hit you though. I don't mind sharing. See, some niggas don't like to share. It's one thing I don't share. I make it too. I don't share my woman on my protein shake. And I don't share my food with my woman. She always asks for something. Get your own food. I don't know why she keep putting her hands and think I'm going to give her something too, little mama. Think I'm going to give her something too. Do we look? I can't have a piece? Absolutely not. You got your own food. If you wanted something, you should have bought you one. You know what I'm saying? I don't play all that stuff playing in my plate. Yeah, you might think it's cute and all that. Some of you women, you can do that. That's so romantic and cute. Not with me, buddy. I ordered this for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what the crazy part is? She cooked something to eat and asked for something off my plate. Are you serious? You got your own plate. You cook the food. You want my food. We got the same thing. You know, I got that from Lil Muffin when she was little. See, Lil Muffin like you been done made her something to eat. Then you got something different. She don't want her food. She want your food. So I learned that with her early. Well, you ain't getting none of this here. Better go on back over there to what you got. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't sharing. I share French fries with Lizzie. I ain't sharing nothing else. And sometimes Lizzie ain't getting none of them. Because they know you already know how they do. They'll come up looking. I know my uncle gonna give me some. Sometimes I gotta show him, I ain't giving you nothing. You get nothing. John 16:8. Oh yeah, ain't no cheesecake. That ain't no haps on that. Don't even ask for it. Don't even ask for it. Talking about, can you have a bite? Better bite your lip. Better bite your lip. Don't play about no cheesecake. Ain't no haps. Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. That is expedient to you that I go away. For if I go not away, the Comforter cannot come unto you. But if I depart, I will send him unto you. And when he is come, he will reprove the world of sin. That means the Ruach HaKodesh will correct the world from what's wrong. That means he gonna show them that they committing sin and that they wrong. And of righteousness and of judgment. Of sin, because they believe not on me. Ooh. Of righteousness, because I go to my Father and you see me no more. Of judgment, because the prince of this world is judged. Don't you realize that when he in that grave, remember we dealt with that when he was in the grave, that was the similitude of Jacob wrestling with that angel and overcoming. That's when he became YAHUAH. But as a prince, thou shalt rule with all and man, and thou have power with all and man, and as a prince thou hast prevailed. So when you turn around and you look at Abraham going to war at night to free his brother from captivity, this is the same thing. Of righteousness. The prince of this world is judged. You know what I'm talking about? Because he coming to judge and make war. You know what I'm talking about? Not only to judge and make war to deliver us from the captivity of sin, but to also deliver us from those who have held us fast and don't want to let us go, meaning the nations who've been holding us captive. Come on back to Genesis chapter 14. But they say we read too many precepts, though. That's what they say. They say we ain't got no love. But don't you realize when you preach a Mashiach, you preaching love? The love that y'all had for man. Then I would hope that after preaching the love that a Mashiach had for you, which is the love that y'all have for YAHUAH, that would generate the type of love in you to where you would want to serve Yah out of your heart because you loved him, not because you just didn't want to go to hell. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to go to the point where you doing it because you started off, okay, I don't want to go to hell. But after a while, there should be something where it's moving in your heart to where I do it because I love it. He said he first loved us. You didn't love him. Genesis 14:14 again. And when Abram heard that his brother was taken captive, and remember who's a Mashiach's brother? He that doeth the will of Elohim. And he said his brother was Lot, when we know his Lot is his nephew. So why would he say that his brother is Lot? Because Lot did the whole, what you got, 2 Peter chapter 2. It say Lot is his brother, but Lot is his nephew though. Right? Lot's his nephew, ain't it? But in Genesis 14, he say he is brother though. Well, let's look in 2 Peter chapter 2 and verse 5, well, verse 6, and let's see why he would say he was his brother then. Then you could get your Hebrews 2 and 11. Man, it's easy money, man. I thank y'all for the word. You wouldn't even believe he just gave me that just now right here on the spot. You wouldn't even believe that, bro. He say, and turning the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah into the ashes, condemned them with an overflow, making them an ensample unto those that after should live on Kadesh. And delivered just Lot. If Lot is just, what is he, gentlemen? Blameless. Vexed with the filthy behavior of the wicked. For that righteous man dwelling among them and seeing and hearing, vexed his righteous soul from day to day with their unlawful deeds. YAHUAH know how to deliver the godly out of temptations and to reserve the unjust unto the day of judgment to be punished. But chiefly them that walk after the flesh in the lust of uncleanness and despise government. You know what that means to despise government? Despise the law, despise authority. Presumptuous are they, self-willed. They are not afraid to speak evil of dignities. That means these people not even afraid to speak evil against the word. They ain't even scared to blaspheme. Which goes back to what we looked at on Wednesday when Paul told that dude, Bar Jesus, you old full of subtlety and old child of the devil. How long will you continue to pervert the righteous ways of Yahuwah? It's the same thing. Hebrews 2:11. Because we know what Mark chapter 3 say. He that doeth the will of my Father, that's my brother. And that's my mother. And that's my sister. Now you got to already remember something. YAHUAH already sanctified Abraham, right? He called him out from amongst his people. He sanctified him, right? Follow me now. We looking at the righteousness of the law now. We looking at the righteousness of faith. We ain't even sat back and look at him obeying the law. We just looking at the righteousness of faith. Because hearing come by the word. Faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word of Elohim. But I ain't even got to that part of Romans chapter 10. We gonna get there. I thank y'all, boy. My bike hurting. It ain't hurting too bad. He just went to pulsating just then. We gonna make it though. We gonna get through it. We got some more stuff to look at. Y'all hear me? 2:11 Hebrew. Look what he say. Matter of fact, just make it 9. Hebrew 2:9. But we see Yahushua, who was made a little Lord in the Malachim, for the suffering of death, crowned with esteem and honor, that he by the grace of Elohim should taste death for every man. For it became him whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons under esteem, to make the captain of the salvation perfect through sufferings. For both he that sanctify and they who are sanctified all are of one, for which cause he's not ashamed to call them brethren. Come on back to Genesis 14 then. Hey there, little buddy. I'll read 14 again. Hey there, little buddy. And Abram heard that his brother was taken captive. He armed his trained servants, born in his own house. Ain't that something? Because all the apostles were born what? Out of the house of Yasharal. They wasn't born, they wasn't no Gentiles, was it? Didn't he arm them with the word? Didn't Paul talk about being armed with the armor of righteousness and the sword of the Spirit? Trained servant. Born in his own house, 318, and pursued them under Dan. And he divided himself against them, he and his servants by night, and smote them, and pursued them unto Hobah, which is on the left hand of Damascus. And he brought back all the goods, and also brought again his brother Lot and his goods, and the women also, and the people. Don't you realize that Mashiach bring you back from death, brought back all the goods? As that old funny Christian saying always here, we gonna take back what the devil has stole. And in all actuality, that's what this man turned around and did. Did he not? Everything that was lost, he came and got it back. Even his brethren, the women and the people. He got Yasharal back and the nations. I got everybody and my brother and his goods. Verse 17, and the king of Sodom went out to meet him after his return from the slaughter of Kedorlaomer, and of the kings that were with him in the valley of Shavah, which is the king's dale. And Melchizedek brought forth bread and wine, and he was the priest of the Most High Elohim. And he blessed him, and said, blessed be Abram of the Most High Elohim, possessor of Shamahim and earth. And blessed be the Most High Elohim, which have delivered thy enemies into thy hand. And he gave them tithes of all. Does it not look like that Melchizedek is coming with glad tidings of good things? So that means that, come on back to Romans chapter 10 then. So that means if Melchizedek can turn around to look at what we see in here in verse 15, because he just coming in, if he blessing the man and increasing the man, he got to be giving him shalom. So that means what? That means he had to teach him afterward then. Wouldn't that make sense? Why would this man turn around and give tithes and all to a priest? You should only be giving tithes to somebody who instructed you the word, who served y'all. Why else would he do that? Verse 15, and how shall they preach except they be sent? Because remember, he said he gave him, if Melchizedek is a priest, and the priest's lips should keep knowledge, and the people should seek the law at his mouth, for he's the messenger of Yahuwah of hosts. That means he was sent. How beautiful are the feet of them that preach the gospel of priests and bring glad tidings of good thing. Did he not bring glad tidings to Abraham? He say, but they have not all obeyed the gospel, for Isaiah saith, Yahuwah, who have believed our report. So then faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of Elohim. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, truly, their sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. So it say faith come by hearing, and hearing by the word of Elohim. So that means in order Abraham believe, he had to hear the word, right? Genesis 15 then. So we finna sit back and look at, you're going to see Abraham keeping the righteousness of faith right here. After he heard the word. Because you got to know Melchizedek dropped some word on it. Who would be simple enough to think that didn't happen? Hey, little buddy. He's sleeping. He about to be. That's that sleep man face. He looked like he done worked a 10-hour shift. Life just been hard. They had me in the playpen, minding all the toys, slaving me. He's out of there. Genesis 15:1. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abram in a vision, saying, fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. He came into him in a vision. That means that's when Abraham got his first prophet. That's how you know Abraham became a prophet. He gonna be a prophet right then, and the word ain't been revealed to him yet. If Melchizedek is the priest of the Most High Yah, then you know Melchizedek had to teach him of who Yah is. Abram said, Yahuwah Elohim, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus? Abram said, behold, to me thou hast given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is mine heir. And behold, the word of Yahuwah came unto him, saying, this shall not be thy heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir. And he brought him forth abroad and said, look now toward Shamahim, and tell the stars if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, so shall thy seed be. And he believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. So we see Abraham, by the strength of, he heard the word, faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word of Elohim. So before he even made this pronouncement of what he was going to do to him, you know, for him to be able to believe in Yah, he already had to hear the word, because that's why you see him having an encounter with a high priest. Do you follow me? Absolutely. And the shield of faith gonna come what? To quench the fiery darts of the wicked. This is why he was able to that's not the word I'm looking for. Now the word escapes my mind what I want. But that's why he was able to navigate the land that he was in the face of all obstacles and enemies and oppression, and stand upon the word. You know what I'm saying? Come on back over here to Psalms 119. Does everybody understand what we just looked at? Even though we hit all them precepts, was it simple? Or do you not understand? I would hope so. Looking like a real muffin. Psalms 119:37. Righteous art thou, O Yahuwah, and upright are thy judgments. Thy testimonies that thou hast commanded are righteous and very faithful. My zeal hath consumed me, because mine enemies have forgotten thy words. When did his zeal consume him that his enemies have forgotten his words? When did that happen? When he flipped over them tables, he said, is it not written, don't make my father's house a house of merchandise? That's right there in the book of Jeremiah, in the 7th chapter. He said, you made this house a den of thieves. Remember, he said his disciples looked at him and said, hey, remember what was written in the 69th division of Telahim, the 69th division of Psalms. He said, the zeal of thy house have eaten me up. He said the zeal had consumed him, therefore his enemies had forgotten his words, his passion. You know what I'm saying? I'll whoop these niggas. He says, thy word is very pure, therefore thy servant loveth. This is what he say. I'm small and despised, yet I do not forget thy precepts. Thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Trouble and anguish have taken hold on me, yet thy commandments are my delights. Y'all already know he said he was exceedingly sorrowful unto death, but he took hold of what his father told him to do. He was instructed to die. But in order for him to go ahead and die, he had to believe that he would be rose on the third day. How many times did he tell his apostles he would get up on the third day? Numerous times, didn't he? Because he believed that. He believed that if I go ahead and die, this man will do exactly what he told me he would do. Because I know that he is faithful. Therefore, I will be faithful. He said, the righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding and I shall live. 1 John 5:20. He said, give me understanding and I shall live, because thy testimonies are righteous. They're everlasting. He said, thy righteousness is an everlasting righteousness. So now we making a delineation between the righteousness of the law and the righteousness of faith. The righteousness of the law is not everlasting. That's why he said you will seek to be justified by the things that you couldn't be justified of in the law of Moses. The law of Moses could not give you eternal life. What we started reading in Exodus 34, which we done already went over before, is that Exodus 34 showed you the prelude to eternal life. It showed you how the righteousness of Yahuwah through faith was going to give you eternal life, but it was shut up unto man until the time appointed. Five and 20. I'll make it 17 because that's just how I feel. 1 John 5 and 17. Get you Deuteronomy 25 and 14 as well. We ain't holding nothing else. There's nothing that we're holding at the present time. All unrighteousness is sin, and there's a sin not unto death. Hold what you got, and let's look at Deuteronomy 25 and 14, and we'll come right back to 1 John. He said all unrighteousness is transgression, correct? That means anything that's not right in the eyesight of y'all, you committing sin. So y'all had to sit back and realize that when y'all be doing stuff. 25 and 14. Thou shalt not have in thy house diverse measures, a great and a small, but thou shalt have a perfect and just weight. A perfect and just measure shalt thou have, that thy days may be lengthened in the land which Yahuwah thy Elohim give thee. For all that do such things and all that do unrighteously are an abomination unto Yahuwah thy Elohim. That's serious right there. If he say all unrighteousness is sin, and then he say all that do unrighteousness are detestable before y'all. Come on back to 1 John chapter 5. That means that if the law is righteous and that you doing that make you righteous, remember he say be not deceived, little children. In 1 John chapter 3. He tells you, let no man deceive you, who that do that righteousness is righteous, even as he is righteous. Hamashiach kept the righteousness of the law and the righteousness which is of faith. How you gonna tell me not to do that? That means you making me abominable before y'all. I'm not risking my life on that. Do y'all understand that? This man kept the righteousness which is of the law. I'm just gonna read you Deuteronomy 6 and 25 because we done looked at it throughout the course of this week. You don't have to go get it. And we done looked at Deuteronomy 6. Chapter 6 and ways of showing you this is a Mashiach. But this man told you in the 25th verse, it'll be your righteousness if we observe to do these commandments. We know Deuteronomy chapter 4 say, well, don't nobody got a law as righteous as this. So when you observe his commandments, that is the righteousness of the law. Because like I said, we already looked at that in Leviticus 18. He that do these things even shall live in them. That's the righteousness of the law. You showing the law is right when you abide in it. You know what I'm talking about? But when you turn around and you got the righteousness which is of faith because you heard the word And when you heard the word, you believed it. Meaning when you heard of a Mashiach, you believed it. And then it moved in your heart that you would obey him and do the things that he has commanded. Because he said, the word that I speak is not mine, but the Father which hath sent me. If he is a prophet like unto Moses, that means he can't come saying nothing different than what Moses said and what Moses taught. If he does anything different, he's not a prophet like unto Moses, is he? We've already sat back and looked at it. Genesis 49, Psalm 60 and 7, Isaiah 33. Yah is the lawgiver. The lawgiver come from YAHUAH. Moses was the lawgiver. He the one gave the law. How you gonna say the man ain't gave no law if he a lawgiver? How you gonna say he a priest when Malachi testified that he a priest and the people should seek him and the law at his mouth? He's the messenger of YAHUAH of hosts. Blessed are them that preach the gospel of priests, that bring glad tidings. You know what I'm saying? That man ain't bring nothing different. He say, everything that I do, I saw my father do. You know what I'm saying? That means he saw his father keep a Kodesh, sanctified, set apart, hallowed standard all the way around. Would you agree? That means if he sat back and he seen that as in earth as it is in Shamahim, that means the same laws that were given on the earth, them the same laws being kept on high. So guess what that means? What's going on in the Shamahim right now? All the hosts of the Malachim, they resting right now, aren't they? They resting. They resting. Yah's resting. Well, they'll be like, well, what they need to rest for? It's not even the point of that they need to rest. It's the point I told you to do it. And I'd be a hypocrite if I told you to do something and I didn't do it. You know what I'm saying? That's bad leadership. It trickles all the way down. You know what I'm saying? Why would this man tell you, follow me, take up your stake, take up your affliction, take up your suffering, take up your fasting and follow me? You know what I'm saying? That means that man denied himself. I could have broke the Shabbat, but I'm not. Do you not realize when the people accused him of breaking the Shabbat, he went off on them? He never once said it was nothing wrong with keeping the Shabbat. He said, "How? Come on, man, I'm healing people. You got a problem with that? You got a problem with that? This lady been under bondage for 18 years of Satan with this issue. You got a problem that I made her every whit whole? This man got a withered hand and I healed him and you got a problem with that? You know what I'm saying? We ain't got no problem with nobody saying, well, it's Shabbat, man. You can't cook on Shabbat. You can't do this here. Or you think we going to have a problem with somebody that say, man, I just was up all night. I cooked 500 meals and I'm finna pass them out to the homeless. All I'm going to look at you and say is, blessed be you in the name of YAHUAH. You know what I'm saying? Blessed be you. Not going to sit here and say you doing something wrong because you cook something to eat to feed some people. You know what I'm talking about? No, I'm not finna say nothing. You did nothing wrong, man. But you telling me you finna go to the swimming pool, go play some basketball, go lift some weights. I can do all things in a Mashiach. Boy, you going to hell. Don't put that on that man. That man ain't do no junk like that. Don't you notice a lot of the times when he was around there healing them people and doing this stuff for these people, he was out there teaching these people in the synagogue? That means he was at where he was supposed to be at then on that day, wasn't he? He just wasn't randomly just doing stuff. See, these niggas is pure, unadulterated fools. So I'm going to tell y'all something. You can get somebody who don't know the word. That's why he say, he that is of Elohim hears Elohim's words. You hear them not because you're not Elohim. Why you think it was easy for Yahushua to obey the word? He had already heard the word. He was slain from the foundation of the world. This had already been rehearsed in his ear before the earth was even made. I already know what's going down. I believe it. I'm going to do it. That's the righteousness of faith, gentlemen. 5 and 18. We know that whosoever is born of Elohim sin not. But he that is begotten of Elohim keep himself, and that wicked one touch him not. And we know that we are of Elohim, and the whole world lie in wickedness. And we know that the Son of Elohim is coming and giving us an understanding, that we may know him that is true, and we are in him that is true, even his Son, Yahushua HaMashiach. This is the true Elohim and eternal life. So didn't he say his precepts in Psalm 119? Didn't it say they gave him life? Ain't that what it said? Let me make sure that what it said. He said, thy testimonies, the righteousness of thy testimonies is everlasting. Give me understanding and I shall live. Well, the testimony of a Mashiach is the spirit of prophecy, and that everlasting righteousness is the Ruach HaKodesh. It'll never fade away. See, come over here to, what it is, 1 Peter chapter 1. Y'all all right? Y'all ain't went to sleep, is it? 1 Peter 1 and 3. Boy. Boy, that's gonna suck, boy, if I can't lift no weights for no 6 weeks. I ain't gonna know what to do with myself. Said, blessed be the Elohim and Abba of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, which according to his abundant mercy have begotten us again unto a lively hope by the resurrection of Yahushua HaMashiach from the dead, to an inheritance incorruptible and undefiled. Because didn't he say his word is pure, didn't he? That fade not away, reserved in Shamahim for you, who are kept by the power of Elohim through faith unto salvation, ready to be revealed in this last time. Now, he said this is an everlasting righteousness. I mean, it's uncorruptible, meaning it can't pass away. I want you to drop down in the very same chapter, and I want you to look at about verse 21. I want you to see what the word that Peter writes to these people. Look what Cephas tell them. Who by him do believe in Elohim, that raised him up from the dead and gave him esteem, that your faith and hope might be in Elohim. Don't you sit back and you realize, son, that's the same thing that you see when we go back and you look in Genesis. In Genesis chapter 2, that he raised up Adam from the dead, that his wife's faith and hope might have been in him because he made him as Elohim. But her faith and hope wasn't in Elohim at that time. Now, was it? He say, seeing you have purified your souls in obeying the truth through the Spirit unto unfeigned love of the brethren, see that you love one another with a pure heart fervently. Being born again, not of corruptible seed, but of incorruptible by the word of Elohim, which live and abide forever. That means you're going to have to be born again by the Son. That means you're going to have to be born again by the Son, and the Son is the Word. He's just not the word that he spoke through Matthew and John. He's the entirety of the book. Lo, I come in the volume of the book. It's written of me to do thy will. Get your Hebrew chapter 10. See, people sit back and say, and I'm going to tell y'all something. You know, we believe in that there, boy. You got to keep this man law, statutes, and commandments. Hebrew 10 and 7. But that's not the only thing that we preach. I'm going to tell y'all something. People hear what they want to hear. You know what I'm saying? People hear what they want to hear. If they want to hear condemnation, that's what they're going to want to hear. If they want to hear all they preach is the law, that's what they're going to hear. If they want to hear the testimony of a Mashiach, then that's what they're going to hear. But when it comes down to it, he that is of Yah, hears Yah's words. You hear them not, because you are not of Yah. Somebody is a little agitated. Then said I, lo, I come in the volume of the book. It is written of me to do thy will, O Elohim. Because you know Hebrew 4 says thy law is in my heart. But get your Psalm 37 though. We won't even read Hebrew 40. Because he say law in their heart in Hebrew 4. Psalm 40, pardon me. I say Hebrew 4. It's all the same. It's all Hebrews who wrote it anyway. He say his law is in his heart. But when we look in Psalm 37 and verse 29, I'll make it 27. He say, depart from evil and do good and dwell forevermore. For Yahuwah love judgment. And then he say he'll come with righteousness and to judge and make war. And forsake not his Kodeshim. They are preserved forever. But the seed of the wicked shall he cut off. The righteous shall inherit the land and dwell therein forever. The mouth of the righteous speak wisdom, and his tongue talk of judgment. The law of his Elohim is in his heart, and none of his steps shall slide. Boy, that mean if you righteous, that mean the law of Yah in your heart. How you gonna turn around and tell me that I ain't got to keep something when the book say the righteous, it say the law is in his heart, right? He say everyone that do righteousness is born of a Mashiach, even as a Mashiach is righteous. That's why he say, let little children, let no man deceive you. That's why he say, being ignorant of Elohim's righteousness, they go about to create their own righteousness. See, we not ignorant of Elohim's righteousness. We know Elohim's righteousness is the righteousness of faith. See, the law is righteous. You know what I'm talking about? But that's not Yah's righteousness. Yah's righteousness is faith. That belief and obedience to me. You understand what I'm telling you? See, that's what a Mashiach had. He had that belief which led to his obedience. You know what I'm talking about? You got to sit back and look at it. I'm slain from the foundation of the world. He said, for this cause I came in the world, for this cause was I born, and for this cause I came in the world. I came for the specific purpose to die. When he told Peter he had to die, when he was telling his apostles that in the 16th chapter of the book of Matthew, he had to tell Peter, get behind me, Satan, for thou savorest the things that be of man and not of Elohim. Because man say don't die, but I believe, yeah, I will rise again. The same way what we looked at with Abraham. Abraham believed y'all would rise Isaac from the dead because you promised me my seed was going to come through him. My seed can't come through him if he dead, can he? He believed y'all when he told the man you'll have a son around this time. He believed that. When he told him depart from the people that you dwell with, he believed that. And then when you take into account that he was taught by the priest of the Most High Yah, Melchizedek himself, the king of Jerusalem, the king of Salem, that means he had the law to go along with his faith. That's why he said he'll do justice and judgment, and he shall teach his household the way of YAHUAH, which is the way of Kadesh, the set apart way. So that means he had the righteousness of the law and faith, just like Yahusha did. Abraham did the same thing. Well, guess what that means? Isaac had it too then. Because who taught Isaac? Abraham. That means Jacob had it too then. Because who taught Jacob? Isaac did. It only makes sense, don't it? What y'all say? It don't make sense unless you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? Before we get out of here, though, we going to dissect that. Because I don't want nobody to come back around here. I ain't talking about none of y'all. Could be one of y'all. Come back later talking about he didn't show them keeping the law of faith and righteousness. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm really going on to bring it to you. Remember, because I know most of y'all should know this. But I think it's a couple of y'all that actually don't know this. And I ain't mad at you. That just means you ain't heard it before. You know what I'm talking about? But we going to make sure ain't no pinhead or hucklebuck nigga come back around here later talking about we making stuff up. Y'all hear me? So let's come back and let's look at Abraham and let's look at Genesis chapter 18. And we know we're going to have to sit back and show Hamashiach keeping the law and the law of faith. Going to have to show it. I think we done pretty much showed it already, wouldn't you say? But let's make it plain. Like I hear them people tell me about what them old Christian dudes be saying. Make it plain. Let's make it plain then. That's why in the book of Proverbs he say, my words are plain to them that have understanding, ain't it? Let's make it plain. Seeing that Abraham shall surely become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of the earth shall be blessed in him, for I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, and they shall keep the way of YAHUAH to do justice and judgment, that YAHUAH may bring upon Abraham that which he hath spoken of him. That means the only way that Abraham can get what was brought on him is he going to have to do justice and judgment then on him. To do justice is to do what is just, is to do what is good. And what is good but Yah's word. When he gave that law to say, let there be light, what he said, and YAHUAH saw it, and it was good. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, that was just. That was clean. Do you follow me? So when we've already looked at, don't you look like in Genesis 14, with Genesis 15, we looked at Abraham exercising his faith. We've already read this week in Genesis 22 where Abraham exercising his faith. What is she crying for? Just to do it. Genesis 21. Let me make sure that's what I want. Well, let's show you another thing of Abraham following and obeying. Genesis 17 and 5. Make it 3. Abram fell on his face, and Elohim talked with him. As for me, behold, my covenant was with thee, and thou shalt be a father of many nations. Neither shall thy name any more be called Abram, but thy name shall be called Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceeding fruitful. Remember, this is Bull, the month of Bull, increase in produce. And I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee in their generations, for an everlasting covenant, to be a Elohim unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all of the land of Canaan for everlasting possession, and I will be their Elohim. So this man just sat back and Abraham went and did circumcision. Now he just told him, if you do this circumcision, this is what I'm gonna do for you, right? And then what did Abraham turn around and do? Did he not circumcise himself and his whole household? So you see the righteousness of the law and the righteousness of faith right then. Hearing come by the word, and faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word Elohim, because it said Elohim talked with him. So when he heard that, he believed it and he did it. Oh man. So you see the righteousness of the law and the righteousness of faith in the same chapter now, don't you? Then you should already know. He said, when you circumcise your penis, I'll be your power and you'll be my people. That's what he said, right? Hebrews chapter 8 then. You know, people like to say, Hamashiach came and brought a better covenant. I'm going to show you the better covenant he brought then. Get your Romans chapter 2 and verse 22, go along with it. This is easy money, man. I'm talking about, I'm be honest with you. Some of y'all know this, some of y'all don't, man. I don't be sitting around. I just have a framework. You know what I'm saying? I don't be sitting around thinking about, boy, I'm going to go on in on this tonight or this here and prove this wrong. It's just y'all do that there, clean up people's mess, man. Niggas be around here playing games. Hebrews 8 and 7. For if that first covenant had been faultless, then there should have no place have been sought for the second. For finding fault with them, no fault with the covenant, fault was with the people. So it wasn't no problem with the law, the problem was with the people. He saith, behold, the days come, saith Yahuwah, and I make a new covenant with the house of Yasharal and with the house of Yehudah. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Mishraim, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith Yahuwah. For this is the covenant I will make with the house of Yasharal after those days, saith Yahuwah. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them an Elohim, and they shall be to me a people. Does that sound like what he just told Abraham? So let's go look in Romans chapter 2 then, and verse 22, and let's just see what that could mean. That he'd make a covenant with them, and he say, if you circumcise yourself, this is the covenant I'm going to make with you. Then I'll be your God, and y'all be my people. But I'm going to drop down about verse 25. Because you got to understand something. Abraham was uncircumcised and believed and obeyed. He was uncircumcised and believed and obeyed. He say, for circumcision truly profit if thou keep the law. But if thou be a breaker of the law, thy circumcision is made uncircumcision. Therefore, if the uncircumcision keep the righteousness of the law, shall not his uncircumcision be counted for circumcision? Because we already looked and seen that before he even told Abraham to circumcise his penis, he had already kept the righteousness of the law by obeying it and believing it. You know what that would make Abraham then? Well, let's look and see. I'll show you what that make Abraham. He saying, shall not uncircumcision, which is by nature, if it fulfill the law, judge thee, who by the letter and circumcision doth transgress the law? For he is not a Yahudim, which is one outwardly, neither is that circumcision which is outward in the flesh. But he is a Yahudim, which is one inwardly, and that circumcision is that of the heart, in the spirit, and not in the letter, whose praise is not of men, but of Elohim. So you see Abraham being the first Yahudim then. So you see that actually when he was giving him that circumcision in the flesh and making that covenant, it would point to you to that circumcision in the heart. Because Abraham had already heard the word. He had already believed. So therefore the word was resting in his heart. Therefore Yah could be his God and Abraham could be his people. With a seed of Abraham, they could be his people. So again, we see the righteousness of obedience right then. The obedience of faith right then. I heard it, I believed it, I did it. Abraham did that, did he not? Let's turn around and let's look at Isaac then in Genesis 26. Don't you know the clearest thing to clear all this stuff up is just to go look in our law? That's all you got to do. Ain't that right? That's all you got to do. He said there was a famine in the land, Genesis 26:1. Besides the first famine in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went unto Amalek, king of the Philistines, under Gerar. And Yahuwah appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Mizraim, dwell in the land which I will tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee, for unto thee and unto thy seed will I give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father, and I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of Shamahim, and I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice, and kept my charge, and my commandments, my statutes, and my laws. He can't be no more specific than that. Now, where would Abraham get his laws, his statutes, his commandments, and his charge? You know, his charges is things that you got to be responsible over. So where would Abraham got them from? He had to get them from Melchizedek. He had to get them from him, didn't he? He had to. Where else would he have got it from? He just woke up one day and it was in his heart. That's nigga thinking. You just don't wake up one day, because that go against the word, don't it? The word say faith come by hearing, and hearing come by the word of Elohim. That mean he had to hear it. You just don't wake up one day, the law of Yah's in my heart. You just woke up one day, it's like this here. Oh, sun just done came over me. Now I know not to lie and steal and worship idols. Oh, I feel a glow. Soul glow. You know what I'm saying? That's not what the word of Yahuwah said. The word of Yahuwah said you got to hear the word. Even Adam heard the word. You know what I'm saying? Even Adam heard the word. Eve heard the word. We already know Adam, the son of Elohim, Adam got taught directly from Yahuwah. And he taught Seth. You know what I'm saying? People talking about how could Cain and Abel know how to bring sacrifices to Yah? It wasn't no sacrificial law. You just stupid. Those were the sons of the son of Elohim, who was taught by Elohim himself. So you don't think he would have taught his sons that? When the law say teach these laws to your children's children, and you don't think Adam did that? Good limbo. So you don't think he taught that to Seth then, and then Seth don't teach it to his kids then? How is you going to become a son of Elohim unless you hear the word? He said that you purified your soul to the obeying of the truth to become sons of the Most High in 1 Peter chapter 1, right? What we read, right? So that means the obeying of the truth. That means the obeying of the law. That means you heard the word and you obeyed it. You believed it. Man, niggas are certifiably stupid. You understand what I'm telling you? Look here, man. By no means am I stating that I'm the sharpest pan to ever pick up the scriptures. You know what I'm talking about? By no means am I saying I'm the wisest man that walked this earth. By no means am I saying I'm the only person who know the word. And by no means am I saying that I got all the truth and ain't nobody else got it. You know what I'm talking about? By no means am I saying that. By no means do I think I'm better than anybody. But if you're stupid, you're stupid. You know what I'm saying? If you're an idiot, you're an idiot. If you're an imbecile, you're an imbecile. If you're a simpleton, you're a simpleton. I ain't got nothing to do with that. You made that choice, buddy. You made that choice. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing to do with that. Shoot, boy, my shot looked at people in the face, told them they were stupid all the time. Shoot, mad at me because I tell you stupid. Shoot, only remedy to that situation is stop being stupid. Shoot. Sit here, man, it's October the 17th. So-called October the 17th, right? 2015. You know what I'm saying? What are they? Tuesday with the first day of the month. So Wednesday the 2nd, and Thursday the 3rd, 4th. We in the 5th day of the 8th month, right? Now, who would have thought 10, 15 years ago, I'd be preaching y'all's word? You know what I'm saying? Nobody would have thought that. That's why I was telling y'all, like when I would think about what I would think about, boy, look at the direction your life could have went. I'm sitting there thinking about one woman I was dealing with, and I'm like, boy, I can see myself arguing, going back and forth with this woman, trying to reason with her on why she should do this because you know me. You know what I'm saying? Knowing that wasn't even gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Just sitting back thinking about, because I ain't really deal with probably about 3 women, like really dealt with them. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm sitting there thinking like, well, ain't none of them would have went for that. None of them would have went for that. I don't believe they would have went for it. Even if after a period of time, you talking about years of dealing with each other, I don't think they'd have went for it. You know what I'm saying? Who's to even say I would have heard it? Who to say? Fat Boy came across this information not too long before I got out of prison. You know what I'm saying? He said when he heard it, I was the first and only person that came to his head. Nobody else. You know what I'm saying? That ain't by no hat. That ain't by chance. You know what I'm saying? That ain't by chance. That ain't by chance. I don't even know why my mama way on the head station on Beach Boulevard. She didn't even work over there. Oh yeah, she did work over there, didn't she? Their office was over there. You know what I'm saying? I take that back. My apologies. And he just happened to see her. You know what I'm saying? He just happened to see her. I've been out of prison a month. I ain't thinking about none of this. You know what I'm saying? Because all things be the Yah's doing. Because I'm telling you, man, there's certain things you could have did, but your life could have been drastically different. And, you know, periodically, I just sit and think about that when I think about, boy, Yah is good. You know what I'm saying? He is faithful and he is just and he is merciful because my life could be different. You know what I'm saying? There was a time a woman I was dealing with, she was like, you know what I'm saying? She finna move out of town. She's like, come with me. And I'm like, man, I don't know about that. And all she thinking about is, I won't leave Fat Boy and all the homeboy Fred. And I'm thinking about Little Muffin, really. And that's when I known right then, I love you. I don't really love you enough to leave my sister, though. So I know I can't love you too tough because I don't want to leave my sister. I don't love you enough to leave my sister. If a man love a woman enough, he'll leave his family behind. Just like the word tell you to do. Leave father and mother and cleave to his wife, right? Even though we wasn't married, wasn't going to be married or nothing. You know what I'm saying? Right then. But when a man got that type of love for a woman, he'll leave his family behind. That was one of the instances let me know I don't really love that woman like that. I ain't willing to leave my sister for you. Like, it ain't even jump in my mind. Think about it, weigh it out, consider. Man, I'm not leaving Little Muffin for you, man. I ain't doing it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't doing it. It's just not going to happen. But let's just say if I would have did that, ain't no telling what. There's no telling you the God out of God in the word. And then considering where we would have went, man, a nigga could have messed around and caught that mind and run across these old, what that dude called them. I seen a video dude call them niggas who be with GMS, he called them bummerlights. He said, and when they be out, he said, you could tell old GMS nigga, he old bummerlight. You know what I'm saying? You could have had a mind to go for that. Because you dealing with somebody who didn't roll with Martin Luther King. He dealt with Malcolm X. I ain't feel that there. So you talking about somebody who listen to somebody who more militant, nigga catch you at the right time when you ain't got good sense. You might go for what they talking about. You don't realize that because your mind frame gonna be different because your life experiences would have been different than what the life experience that you actually had if certain things would have felt differently. Some of y'all could have got the things you were desiring to go after in the world and it could have been totally blocked from hearing the word. You know what I'm saying? Totally blocked. Because the things that you were cleaving to were greater than the things that y'all was offering. See, I don't know if y'all sit around and think about that stuff from time to time. Little Muffin know, because this ain't the first time I'd have never said this here. You know, it's just some days I just go to think about it like, boy. You know what I'm saying? You just don't know. Y'all just don't know. I'm telling you, that wasn't no joke, man. And when I told you the age of them children, that was like 3 different women. Because there was one woman I'm dealing with, boy, if I'd have got her impregnated then, the child would be getting ready to turn 15 or 16 years old. Meaning I would almost had a grown adult on my hands. Somebody, luckily that didn't happen with me. She came and told me she was pregnant. I'm like, what you telling me for? Ain't none of mine. You know, hey, I ain't mad at you. Shoot, ain't my baby though. Shoot, make it light on yourself. Go tell him. Because I can't help you. Still my nigga though. You know what I'm talking about? If I sit back and look at that, I know her. She ain't going for it. She wasn't going for it. I'm going to tell you something, man. You'll have some women, they'll love a man enough that whatever that man doing, she going to do. You know what I'm saying? Then you got some women, I love you, but I don't love you that much. Some of y'all done seen that with, right, just recently. That woman love that man enough that wherever he goes, she going. You know what I'm saying? And be honest, that's mindless love. Because even if you love a man, you still got to be cognizant of the direction that he's taking you in. You know what I'm saying? You just can't follow a man just because you love him. Because just because you love him don't mean he going to take you where you need to go. You know what I'm saying? And you got some women, they'll love a man enough that if they realize he gonna take them where they need to go, then yeah, they gonna follow him wherever they lead him because they know he's not gonna lead them wrong. And then you got some women, regardless if they know that he's not gonna lead me wrong, I ain't going where you're going because it's stuff I want to do and I ain't letting it go. And when you come across something like that, you gotta be able to let that go. And actually realize and look at it, it's not a bad thing, it's actually a blessing because it can allow you to be free and be relieved from a heavy burden. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? To be relieved from a heavy burden. Because I know with all three of them, and one was a Gentile. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, they wasn't going to do that. They wasn't going to do that. They wasn't going to do that. I know one of them. I know all three of them for certain, but one I know for sure. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You know what I'm saying? They'd have been miserable. Miserable. Because boy, when that word come in and that seismic shift start going in your mind and you start viewing the world different, you know what I'm saying? You imagine you've been with a woman 10, 15 years or been with a man 10, 15 years and y'all did all this stuff together and now the word done came and they want to go to movies and you like, boy, I ain't going to watch that movie. That movie is evil. I don't watch that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? You in the car with them, they start playing certain, man, you need to cut that off. I don't listen to that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, baby, I'm finna cook some dinner. They pulling out pork steaks. Oh, you ain't finna cook that in here? Or they cooking and you don't eat it. You know what I'm saying? I got some pancakes drizzled in honey. I ain't finna eat that. You know what I'm saying? Just certain stuff because they don't live that way. You know what I'm saying? So they ain't thinking about it. I bought you some shoes, fresh pair of Air Max. Man, I don't wear that. Baby, I bought you a new outfit. You like these jeans? I don't wear pants. I bought you a brand new set of bracelets and earrings. Nigga, when the last time you seen me with some jewelry on? I don't wear that. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. Unleavened bread come round. Man, I ain't putting no bread out this house. That's going to be an issue. It's a Shabbat going on. You walk in here, your husband got the TV on watching college football. Or your wife in here, you talking about woman cut off that TV, it's Shabbat. What you mean, nigga? It's a Sex in the City marathon on. I'm watching it. You know what I'm saying? Man, look here. That stuff serious, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all don't see, some of y'all young, so y'all ain't been living long enough to really reflect back in your mind about what bullets you done dodged. And that's all right. You know what I'm saying? That's all right. See, I'm 35 years old. I ain't that old. I know only probably person on here who know what I'm talking about is probably Brother Sean, Dap, and Langston. They know what I'm talking about. Boy, done dodged some bullets. Done dodged some bullets. Like, woo, woo. Boy, that 44 would have opened me all the way up. I'm talking about you been there. I'm talking about, boy. But you know how rare it is to be this old, boy, you ain't use your marriage card, ain't got no kids. You know what I'm saying? Boy, I'm 35, I ain't never been married and I ain't got no kids. Most of my high school peers, boy, they already got kids, boy. Several. Most of them married or finna get married. You know what I'm saying? You look at people we know, boy, they done use their marriage card. Now they done ran across somebody they want to marry in this way and they looking sick, can't do it. I thank y'all for that there, boy. That's ugly now. Come on back over here to now we know Isaac get ready to pass and this, that, there, and the other. He done blessed him and whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? But we know Isaac walked in the way. How else would Isaac be able to give a blessing if he was sinning? Sinners can't give blessings. Remember that. That makes sense, right? Can a sinner give a blessing of Yahuwah? Absolutely not. So then we already read earlier this week in Genesis 28 when he made the promise to Jacob. You know what I'm saying? That he would make the covenant with him. And Jacob say, well, hey, man, if you be with me and keep me in this way, give me bread to eat and clothes to put on, I'll follow you. So guess what that means? That means Jacob believed and obeyed too. That's why you see Judah talking about burn a whore. That's why you see Joseph not laying with an adulterer. That's why you see Dinah them like raising up a brother. That's why you see them finna raise up a brother. Like, where would Judah them get that from in Genesis 38 by giving your brother to your brother's your younger brother, your next brother in line to the wife after the first husband died? Where would they get that from? The only way they could get that from because the priest of the Most High Yah taught it to Abraham, and Abraham taught it to Isaac, and Isaac taught it to Jacob, and Jacob taught it to his sons. Where would they get that from? You know what I'm saying? That's a minute point in the law. You talking about raising up a seed to your brother? Where did they get that from? That just popped in his head to do that? No, he had to be taught that. But see, when you know the way of Yah, you already know how he would be taught that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna sit back, oh, they had the law. You know, a lot of Israelites scream that they had the law, right? But how did they have it? Where did they get it from? How did they learn it? Who did they learn it from? How did Abraham get it? Abraham got it from Melchizedek. Let's turn around and let's look at a Mashiach in John chapter 8, right? He said that which one of y'all convinced me of a sin, right? I want y'all to see something though over here in 1 Peter chapter 1 first. I'm finna get ready to let y'all go and get on the body up. I want you to look in 1 Peter chapter 1. And not chapter 1, chapter 3. I want you to look at verse 10. Ooh. Boy, I need a tennis ball. For he that will love life and see good days, let him refrain his tongue from evil and lips that speak no guile. Let him eschew evil and do good. Let him seek shalom and ensue it. That means let him forsake evil and do what's right. And do what's right. And that means to do what's right, just like the law say, to do what which is right in the eyesight of Yahuwah. Keeping the Shabbat is right in the eyesight of Yahuwah. Not committing fornication, not wearing idols, not serving idols, not lying, not stealing, not cussing. All these things are right. And if it wasn't right, why would he tell you to do it? He say, for the eyes of Yahuwah are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of Yahuwah is against them that do evil. He says the eyes of Yahuwah are over the righteous, and his ears are open to their prayers. Don't you realize what I just mentioned, what we already read earlier in Genesis 28, that Jacob was praying, that Yahuwah's ears was open to that prayer, and he kept him in that way? Because remember now, Jacob was a prophet too, now wasn't he? He gave a prophecy to his sons of what will befall them in the last days, a testimony of a Mashiach, didn't he? So that means he heard his cries just like he heard Abraham cries too. Remember when Abraham stood up to make intercession? His eyes and ears were on Abraham. So that means his eyes and ears would be over Mashiach too, now wouldn't it? So that means if you righteous by obeying. Believing and obeying. You can't say you believe and don't obey. You're not righteous now. Look at John chapter 11. And 41. Make it 40. Y'all all right this evening? Yahushua saith unto her, said I not unto thee that if thou would believe, thou should see the esteem of Elohim? Then they took away the stone from the place where the dead was laid, and Yahushua lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me, and I knew that thou hear me always. But because of the people which stand by, I said it, that they may believe that thou hast sent me. Why would he be confident enough to say that he know that this man hear him always? But not only that, he believed in him though. I want you to read John 18 and 36, y'all, just because of what he said. I referenced it already, but I want y'all to hear what he said. Well, 37, just hear what he said. He said, Pilate therefore said unto him, art thou a king? Then Yahushua answered, thou say that I'm a king. To this end was I born, and for this cause came I into the world, that I should bear witness unto the truth. Everyone that is of the truth, hear my voice. Now, everyone that is of the word. Because the law is the truth. The law is the instruction. Hamashiach is the law made flesh. Everyone that is of the word is going to hear the word. That's why he said we know the spirit of truth and the spirit of error. The spirit of error is going to tell you to go contrary to the word. Spirit of truth is going to tell you to walk in lock and step with the word. That's what it's going to do. That's what it's going to do. So when he tell these people, he tell Pilate, for this end was I born. He telling them my whole purpose of being born is for what? Matthew 1 and 21. What purpose is he here? Why was he born? Make it 20. 19 is good, or 18. We'll just get all of it. Now the birth of Yahushua HaMashiach was on this wise, when as his mother Mary was espoused to Joseph, before they came together, she was found with child of the Ruach HaKodesh. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make her a public example, was minded to put her away privily. But while he thought on these things, behold, the Malachim of Yahuwah appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary thy wife, for that which is conceived in her is of the Ruach HaKodesh. And she shall bring forth a son, and shall call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. So in order to save the people from their sins, what is a Mashiach going to have to do? Well, first thing we know is he's going to have to be a sacrifice. And we know, according to Deuteronomy 17 and 1 in the law, no sacrifice can have any blemish or wrinkle or any such thing. That's an abomination. So we know he can't have no sin on him to be a perfect sacrifice. And that means this man is going to have to be willing to die. He going to have to be willing to die. See, John chapter 18 and verse 9. They just refuse. They think they missing something though. (18 and 7). Then asked he them again, whom seek ye? And they said, Yahushua of Nazareth. Yahushua answered, I have told you that I am he. If therefore ye seek me, let these go their way, that the same might be fulfilled which ye spake of them which thou gave me, have I lost none. Then Simon Peter, having a sword, drew it and smote the high priest's servant, and cut off his right ear. The servant's name was Malchus. Then said Yahushua unto Peter, put up thy sword into thy sheath. The cup which my father hath given me, shall I not drink it? If he done gave him this cup, that means we done dealt with this cup, whether it be in Isaiah 51 or Psalm 75. For him to drink this cup, he had to already know this. He had already been told that this was going to happen to him, right? So if he already knew he was going to happen to him, then guess what this is? Hebrews 11:1. Because we already know a Mashiach ain't commit no sin. We know that from 1 Peter chapter 3 by verse 18, the just for the unjust. Or 1 Peter chapter 2, who committed no sin. So we know he ain't commit no sin. So we know he kept the righteousness of the law because he obeyed it. But you also got to know he kept the righteousness which is of faith as well. Hebrews 11:1. See, the reason why you can have that faith is because you got to believe. It's that confidence that you have in the Most High Yah. It's the confidence. Hebrews 11:1 say, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Did a Mashiach see himself raising from the dead? He seen it as it was told to him. Because he say, my ear have heard of thee, but now I have seen thee. But did a Mashiach see himself being rolled from the dead? See, hold what you got. Look at Acts chapter 2. We come right back to Hebrews 11:1. See, that's what I'm sitting here telling y'all, to make it perfect, to make it complete. That's why he say to serve me in spirit and in truth. The true worshipers of Elohim gonna serve me in the righteous obedience of faith. Don't let nobody make no idiot out of you, man. Don't let these people have you looking up with a lemon meringue pie on your face. 2 and 23. Because that's what they out here doing. He say, him being delivered, 22, ye men of Yasharal, hear these words, Yahushua of Nazareth, a man approved of Elohim, among you by miracles and wonders and signs which Elohim did by him in the midst of you, as ye yourselves also know. Him being delivered by the determinate counsel and foreknowledge of Elohim, you have taken and by wicked hands have crucified and slain. Meaning y'all already knew what you were going to do. Whom Elohim have raised up, having loosed the pains of death, because it was not possible that he should be holden of it. For David speak concerning him, I foresaw YAHUAH always before my face, for he is on my right hand, that I should not be moved. Therefore did my heart rejoice, and my tongue was glad. Moreover, also my flesh shall rest in hope, because thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither will thou suffer thy Kodesh one to see corruption. Thou hast made known to me the ways of life. Thou shalt make me full of joy with thy countenance. He made him know. How would he make him know the ways of life unless he had already heard the word? Right? This is that everlasting righteousness. Don't y'all realize that that everlasting righteousness, that righteousness that Abraham exhibited in the 15th chapter of Genesis, extended all the way to Hamashiach, which extends to us to this very day, because you can receive the Ruach HaKodesh through faith in Hamashiach? Do y'all realize that? You know, everlasting is continual. It never stops. Right? Hebrews 11:1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. For by it the elders obtained a good report. Through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of Elohim, so that the things which are seen were not made of the things which do appear. By faith Abel offered unto Elohim a more excellent sacrifice than Cain, by which he obtained witness that he was righteous, Elohim testifying of his gifts, and by it he being dead yet speak. By faith Enoch was translated that he should not see death, and was not found, because Elohim had translated him. For before his translation he had this testimony that he pleased Elohim. And we'll deal with Enoch. You know, it ain't much said about Enoch in here, but we'll deal with that, what they're talking about. But you know, if he dealing with he pleased Elohim, what's the only way he gonna please him? Through his obedience. And we know Enoch was in the line of the sons of Elohim, which means he would talk the word. How else you gonna walk with somebody? He say, can two walk together except they be agreed? Ain't that what the word say? And if two walk together and they are agreed, that means they unified, which means they are called, which means they one, which means he lived by Yah. Come on, man, this stuff is not difficult. People make it difficult. Listen what he said. But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that come to Elohim must believe that he is, and is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. See, you turn around and you look at it. With the vow that Jacob made, he believed that Yah would reward him if he sought him, did he not? Abraham believed that Yah would reward him if he sought him. Yahushua believed that if I finish the course and finish the work, I will be rewarded. That's why Paul say, I fought the good fight of faith, therefore a crown of life is laid up for me. You know what I'm saying? I stood on the word. I endured to the end. When Paul turned around and say, keep the ordinances as I delivered them unto you, you know the only place it referred to as ordinances at, that's in the law. These men taught these people the law, and they taught them to follow it. They taught them to follow it. Why would they teach them to follow it? Because Hamashiach taught them to follow it. See, Hamashiach taught them both righteousness of the law. He taught them the righteousness of faith, and he taught them the righteousness of the law. See, the righteousness of the law is the things that are right before Yahuwah. But he taught them the thing that would make them righteous before Yah, which is to believe in Yah. See, I had something to Deuteronomy too. But Yah will, I'll save that for tomorrow. On tomorrow. I'm not going to go into that tonight. You know what I'm saying? Just to be continuing on of the theme of what we're looking at. Hold on, there's something else that I had in my mind. Romans 16:24. I'm finna get ready to go and wrap him up. Y'all all right? Y'all cool? Is you alive? Is you breathing? I guess ain't nobody breathing but They'll say Brian breathing up. They'll say, I guess ain't nobody breathing but Corey. But Brian beat him to the punch. They say Romans 16:24. The grace of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach be with you all. Amen. Now to him that is of power to establish you according to my gospel and the preaching of Yahushua HaMashiach, according to the revelation of the mystery, which was kept secret since the world began, but now is made manifest, and by the scriptures of the prophets, according to the commandment of the everlasting Elohim, made known to all nations for the obedience of faith. To Elohim only wise be glory through Yahushua HaMashiach forever. Amen. So when you turn around and you look at it, right? When the Mashiach came, and he told these people, if you don't believe that I am he, you're going to die in your sins. If you don't believe that it is me, then you're not going to believe in this sacrifice that was given for you. Hebrews 10:25. You're not going to believe in the sacrifice that was given for you. Therefore, you definitely not going to change your ways. You know, we Yahudim, man. We don't believe in none of that stuff. 10:26, actually. All that mindless sinning these niggas talking about. And then after that, Matthew 13:47. For if we sin willfully after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for of judgment and fiery indignation which shall devour the adversaries. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. So he let it be known, if you didn't want to do what the law said, you was going to get no mercy. You know what I'm saying? Of how much sore punishment suppose ye he be thought worthy, who have trodden under the foot of the Son of Elohim, and have counted the blood of the covenant wherewith he was sanctified an unkadosh thing, and have done despite the Spirit of grace. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belong unto me, I will recompense, saith Yahuwah. And again, Yahuwah shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living Elohim. It was something else I wanted to hit with him coming to judge and make woe, but I ain't get to it. Y'all will I get to it on tomorrow. That way we complete everything. Because we done pretty much, except for that judgment part of him returning, we done hit everything we've been talking about since Tuesday and Wednesday, didn't we? You know what I'm saying? Now we turn around and us thank y'all for the word. So when we turn around and we look at that, right? He say, if you know you're supposed to die for breaking the law, you know you're supposed to die for not believing in my son. So you damned either way. You know what I'm talking about? You disobey my law, you going to hell. You disbelieve my son, you going to hell. See, you got Israelites that say they believe in the law and keep the law, but don't believe in the son, which means you actually don't believe in the law. You actually don't keep it. You going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? Then you got some, I believe in the son. My faith is in the son. I don't need that law. Okay. So you mean to tell me you believe, but yet you don't obey? Boy, you going to hell. The law don't support it. And when I say the law don't support it, I ain't talking about Exodus to Deuteronomy. I'm talking about Genesis. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about Bereshit. I'm talking about, we looking at what Abraham did, didn't he? He had the law, he believed and obeyed. Didn't he? We looking at Jacob, he had the law and obeyed. We looking at Isaac, he had the law and obeyed. And I'll touch the last part of which I didn't hit. And that's showing that when you show the righteousness of obedience of faith, then guess what ends up happening? You get the reward, right? Y'all will, Matthew 13, increase. Y'all will, Matthew 13:47. We'll deal with all that on tomorrow. Leave a little something behind them. Thank y'all for the word. Y'all been working me like a mule. Again, the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a net that was cast into the sea and gathered of every kind, which when it was full, they drew to shore and sat down and gathered the good in the vessels, but cast the bad away. So shall it be at the end of the world. The Malachim shall come forth and sever the wicked from among the just, and shall cast them into a furnace of fire. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. Yahushua said unto them, have ye understood all these things? Y'all understood all these things? They said unto him, yea, master. Then said he unto them, therefore every scribe which is instructed unto the kingdom of Shamahim is like unto a man that is a householder, which bring forth out of his treasure things new and old. Praise ye Yah for Yahushua HaMashiach and the word.